Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in together, we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode, reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode, reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find.
Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Good to see you. Good to have you here. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Arctic Fox in the house. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. Been up all night. Didn't get a whole lot of sleep, but that's okay. I'm used to that.
I've been there too. I do that all the time. Why are you not sleeping? Busy?
It's one of those deals where I've always got so much running through my mind that I just can't make myself shut down.
Don't you love that stuff? Awesome, isn't it? Gotta love it. I go through that every damn day. It's crazy.
I do too. I worry about stuff I can't change.
That's
like the
same
what
thing.
ifs. What ifs? I mean, I can't change that.
Well, I was, anyway, first I'll get to this in a second, but Doodle, my dear, welcome back. How are you feeling?
I'm sore, but I feel so much better. It's been a rough couple days.
I bet.
Well, we were very, very worried about you, Miss Doodle.
100%.
Thank you. Yeah, it was rough. It really was.
Yeah, I was weird, I guess. I can imagine yesterday. I could just feel like I was not being right yesterday. So yes, I was very highly worried about you. I've told you. And as soon as I was already worried about you when you were saying you were sick, and then he turns around and says, and you just put it out so nonchalantly, like, really? Like, well, it's my gallbladder. I'm gonna have surgery. I'll be okay. Talk to you soon. What the hell? I was like,
I couldn't get you guys to worry. I mean, it's just a simple surgery. It wasn't that bad. It was before that was awful. The surgery actually was better than how I was feeling.
Surgery is surgery. That's like me saying, "Oh, I just had a tiny heart attack. It was nothing to worry about."
yeah,
Right,
same
right.
thing. He did the same thing. So I'm just grateful that you're okay. I feel better today now that you feel better. And I hope it just gets better from there. How's Mr. P today? Have you talked to him?
Oh yeah. They were right there waiting for me. He was ready for me to get out of there.
Good.
This morning he was like, "I'm gonna have a great day." I said, "All right."
That's awesome. That's because Mama is better. That's what matters. So
Yeah,
yes.
he's never spent a night away like that unless he's went to Pawpaw's. But to know that I was in the hospital, yeah, he wasn't having that.
100%. Yes. Good. Prayers do work, folks. I agree. And I appreciate all of you guys for doing that and praying. Miss Sherry is home from my understanding. I still haven't seen or heard from her yet, but I saw her in the Discord and she is responding to people.
Yep, she's doing okay.
Yeah, she's resting, so she's doing okay. So that's I got two of you guys back. That's awesome. God, I was so nervous yesterday. I don't know why either. It was crazy. I could feel, like I said, that I was acting strange, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys. I don't mean to be this way. I'm trying not to be. I tried not to be, but it was there. So either way,
we've all had so much loss. It's hard. It's hard to think of the what ifs.
Poor Dago was up here all by himself yesterday because I had to take my mom to a doctor's appointment, so I couldn't even come up with him.
Oh no, I bet he was a little anxious then.
I was. It wasn't. Well, yeah, I was, but I was more worried about you, to be honest with you. That was the only thing I was thinking about the whole time I was doing this. And
yeah, and you're used to me being up here in the morning, so for me not to be, it's like a constant reminder too. I'm sure. Well, I'm
Well,
sorry, guys. I
no,
couldn't
no,
help
no,
it.
no. Don't you dare apologize. I was more worried about like you in general as a friend, not you being here. So
Right,
I
right, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you were okay. And I'm telling you, when I got the message that when you said that, I'm good. I'm glad I'm going home. Okay, thank Jesus. I was like, thank you, God. I appreciate that. I know it sounds like a bit much, guys, but she's right. There's been a lot of loss in my life over the past 2 years, and a lot of things like this that happen, and my luck is just not the greatest. So I just get nervous when somebody I'm close to is going through something, you know.
I'm the same way, so I get it. I really do.
When I heard that, I mean, and Arctic and I are becoming, but we're not even that close when he had his episode, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, no. And I was freaked out. So you get close to the people out here, and granted, we don't know each other physically in person and face to face and haven't sat and had coffee or hung out or dinner or whatever. But these people become part of your life in here. They become your family. And especially in this community, within this community, Mom and Arctic's community, we all are like a family in here, folks. It's fact. So it does get me nervous when I don't see or hear from somebody for a while, or I hear that somebody has gone through something. It really bothers me. So
Yeah, and we get really close to these people, and some just leave, and we never know what's going on with them, and those get me the most.
yes. Oh God, yeah. Yeah. There's a couple people. I still am nervous. Lynn 69 was doing really bad, and I haven't seen or heard from her in a while, and I'm praying that she's okay. I just like Miss Sherry, she didn't speak to me for 2 days. I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right. Do I need to get in the car and go driving? It's one of them things. So just saying, it does make me nervous because we care. That's just how we are. So I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're feeling better. You sound good.
Yeah, I feel so much better now. I can hold down a little bit of liquids, and I get to try a little bit of bland food today, so I'm excited.
That's exciting. Bland food is always so much fun. Gotta love
I
it.
know, I know, but I'm ready.
I bet. I'll bet. And I could tell. Were you feeling like this the last time you were on here live?
Yeah, I started feeling just icky, and I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. I thought I was maybe getting a cold, but I think that could have been it.
That's what you said too. So yeah, the tone of your voice was different. So yeah, I kind of thought something. I didn't know it was that. I thought maybe you were getting. I was actually worried that you were getting the big C.
Yeah, I know, I get that every year.
Right, and Alicia's had it, and a couple other people have had it. I'm like, oh God, it's that time of year, and I hope not, because you got a little one that goes to school and brings all that crud home. So, but good, you're better, you're gonna get better, and that's all that matters. So,
Yep.
And how did everything go with Mom yesterday, Arctic, when you took her to the doctor?
Well, they ran some tests. She did have a low grade fever, so I'm waiting on the lab results to come back on that. But all of her vitals were great. I mean, her blood pressure was excellent. Her pulse, her oxygen level was at 94% without her wearing her oxygen. So everything's going pretty good.
That's good. That's awesome to hear. Good to hear. Good to hear. Grateful. Everybody's doing good. Unfortunately, poor Mystery. I had asked everybody to keep Mystery in her thoughts and prayers yesterday because she lost 2 relatives over the weekend. Not one, but 2.
Oh, no.
It was horrible. So, yeah. And I feel so bad for her. I really do. It's just too much of this stuff going on, you guys. Too much. So, everybody, I hope everybody's doing good today. I hope you all had a great start to your day. It is October 22nd of 2024. Almost over. Halloween's right around the corner. And we're jumping into November, which is Christmas time for my family, believe it or not. My tree goes up, if not before, right after Thanksgiving. So it'll happen. You guys will get to see that again too. Let's see who we got in here with us so far. Looks like, of course, the amazing and awesome Mr. Arctic Fox in the house. Pebbles. Good to see you, Pebbles. Welcome back. I don't usually see you till nighttime.
Hey,
Great to have
Pebbles.
you here. Thank you for joining us. Miss Rowena's in the house. Welcome back, Ro. Great to have you here. Brandy B, the OG, of course. Good to see you. Miss Stormy, welcome back to you, dear. Great to have you here today. Nita P, hello and welcome. Great to have you here. Do I get to say it? Jolly Molly. Good golly, another Molly. I love it. Good golly. Good jolly Molly. La, la, la. tongue twister. There we go. Mikey's in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you today. Cherokee Cherry, welcome back to you. Great to have you here. Stan Man, welcome back. Miss Lynn, wonderful to see you today. Hope you're doing well. Poncho Sesco, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. Andy Lightly, I love it. Andy Lightly, I love it. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you here. I swear I saw another name, but I don't see her now. This thing is so weird the way this works. Hold on.
I know it's confusing, isn't it?
It goes up and down, and then people's names are there, then they're not. It's weird. Wasn't Pigtails in here?
Yep.
Pre-menopausal and pigtails. Yeah,
that was the one I was hoping I was going to get to say, but I don't see her now.
Yeah, she was in here.
Well, thank you for stopping by, Pigtails, if you're not here anymore. Appreciate you very much. Okay, so I get. Oh, there she is. Nope, no, she's not. Oh, there she is. Yes, she is. Okay, boom. Morning, Pigtails. Good to see you today. See, this is weird. It'll show names and then it doesn't, and then they disappear. It's very weird. There's 21 peeps in here, guys. Please make sure to hit that like button if you will. We got 7 likes. What is going on? Come on, y'all. Please make that match if you can. And if you have not done it yet, mods, please. There it is right there already. And I'm going to pin it. That way we don't have to play with it. Hold on a minute here. Please click on Doodlebug's link and jump on over there. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not yet, please. And let's get the day moving. Country Cooter. I love it. Welcome, Country Cooter. Good to have you back. Great to see you. Drana the Drama. I wish we all could, but thank you for joining us. Bonnie Bailey Pebbles. I've seen Bonnie Bailey come in here. I haven't seen the other Bonnie, though, and I do worry about her as well. I kind of miss her. Has anybody seen Bonnie M anywhere?
I haven't, but I haven't really been on YouTube the past couple days.
Right. Okay. I don't know. I don't know, Pebbles. I hope she's okay. We do miss her. I haven't seen her in a while over here, but hold on here. Jolly Molly. Howdy to you. I like these names. I love these names. They're a trip. And if we could, guys, get well, there's Miss Cass. Gerd Mornin to you, Miss Cassie Irma Gerd. Yeah, I haven't seen her, Pebbles. If you do, let her know that we miss her over here and that she's still, a part of this community as much as she ever was. So, Nacho, welcome to you. Good to see you. And let her know that we think about her every day, too, if you would, Pebbles, please. It's wonderful to have you here in the mornings. I appreciate that. You get a good laugh out of here, at least, Pebbles. I'm sure you will. After the other night when you was in here. Alex Geeky, hello. Welcome. Guys, by the way, if you're interested and you feel like doing it, you're always welcome. I love seeing it. I know Doodle does, too. Just to let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm always interested to see where everybody's coming from. A couple times we had some people from South Africa, Thailand, and there was another Norway, I think it was. So that's always cool to see that. So if you feel like it and you don't mind it, let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to see it. Walk strong.
Oh, Mikey had a 2-legged cat once named Cooter.
I almost said something, but
Yep, me too. But I
think I'm gonna still say it though. I'm waiting on Arctic to throw something out there. He's usually the one that jumps in front and goes, "Ah, there it is," and that's that. So, Moonlit Baby, welcome to you coming out of Illinois. That's awesome. Great to see you this morning. Walk strong. I keep wanting to say now, walk hard. Every time I see that, walk strong. I like your name. So Mikey had a 2-legged pussy cat named Cooter. Interesting, Mikey. Sergeant Smellgood in the house. Good morning, sir. I hope you're being safe out there, and I appreciate you joining us. Does he smell good? Does he smell good, Doodle?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Just wanted to make sure it fit.
yeah. Everyone always compliments his. I think he wears Stetson or something. I'm not sure, but all the women love that.
He told me. I asked him one day. I said, "What do you wear, sir, that you have that name?" Stetson. And I
Yeah, I
thought
thought that's what it
immediately,
was.
immediately thought of the commercial, Stetson for men. Thinking because they have it for women, but I guess they do.
I
They
didn't know that.
do.
That's weird. Awesome. See, there we go. Shane Considine, greetings from Ireland. Hello, my friend. Welcome. I love it. I love seeing people from overseas in here. Wonderful to have you here. Appreciate you very much. Actually, I was just getting ready to look into a case out of Ireland. Not right now, but very soon. Where is it at? Kyran Durin. Kyran Durin, the missing little boy out of Ireland. I guess Garda presumed that he's deceased now, and they've been digging in a garden around his home somewhere, and nobody's seen him for 2 years. Sad case. All right, Miss Molly said she'll be joining us here very soon. Pancake Corn in the house. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Great to have you here. Craven Crimes as well. Great to have you here. What year? 2022, I believe. Shane. Let me see here. Boring old South Carolina. It ain't no worse than living in Ohio, Ro. Don't worry about it, dear. That's awesome. Ireland. I've always wanted to go to Ireland too, in a bad way. They got some really, really Michael 007 that comes in here. The one that's always teasing Doodle, as he's got a channel and he goes around filming doing pictures and stuff of different he went on vacation to Ireland, and he lives in the UK, but he went to Ireland for vacation. Absolutely, Shane. And then he sent me a bunch of pictures of the different churches and the different buildings and stuff from Ireland that he took. I love the architecture over there. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is. Nothing like what we have here because it's so old, but it's wonderful to look at it and think about how it was built and who built it and when and all that fun stuff. So it looks like we got 29 peeps in here with 39 likes. Guys, please like this if you have not. And if you have not yet done it, if you're in here on Dago's side, please click the link in the chat just for a quick second. Run over to Doodlebugs, click the link on her side, like it, share it, and love it if you will. I greatly appreciate that. By the way, I was going to tell you, Arctic, since you join us all the time, you're welcome to do the same thing if you can do it and stream it from your side of things if you want, of course.
Oh, I would have to have someone come tell me how to do that. I am very technically challenged.
Do you use StreamYard?
Yeah.
It should pop up depending on which version of StreamYard. When you go, like when you join somebody on a panel, it should pop up on whichever screen. It'll say stream to your audience right there in the top corner. You just click on it and it brings you live, and you'll be live with your audience as well. So you're welcome to do that if you want to do that, bro, anytime that you're with us. So
Ready?
if it gives you that option. See, I don't know, because I used to be able to do it, and I had to drop my StreamYard version. They first of all, they changed the prices and started robbing everybody.
See, that's probably why I can't do it, because I don't pay for my StreamYard. I've just got the free version, so
Then that would be why.
See, I'm only on like a free trial because I had an option for a free trial, so I took it.
Well, you'll get everything. They want you to see how everything works and hope that you'll buy the biggest package after that free trial.
Yeah, $100 a month is a bit much.
It's stupid. For what we do, we don't need that. And even what I have, this went from $28 a month to $45 a month. They added a couple more things that streamers never use. I'm telling you, none of us ever use those things. We don't need it. And might try to make it sound like this great deal, and it's like, no, you guys are like, this is robbery. It's stupid for what we use it for. So,
well, I was paying for StreamYard, but as I don't go live that terribly often, And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, why am I paying all this money when I really don't go live that often? Although I should go live more, but it's one of those deals where unless I've got a case where the family's really having trouble with law enforcement not really helping out,
Yeah.
I don't really go live all that often. I mean, I do my shorts and I do my cold case deep dives, and that's about it. So
Yeah, and you're right, because it's not worth it. Like I started free and I liked it because it's the easiest service that I've seen out here yet. OBS and all these other ones, although there's a couple new ones I haven't tried yet. There's too much for those. Like OBS, you got to layer all these things and make this happen and have this to run that and run this to run that. And it's like, I don't want all that. I don't get it all. Because I'm like Arctic, I'm a little bit technically challenged. I'll just put it that way. So I got a thing and they said, well, you can pay the $28 a month and that'll give you all this. And you can bring up to 10 people up on your panel if you choose and blah, blah, blah. And all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll stick with that one. Well, some things happened and, the channel's not doing so great. So financially, it's not making sense to me to have that. So I was going with the free stuff. Well, I didn't realize I was going to go live one day and I was talking to Doodle at the same time. And I said, wait a minute, I can't go live. She goes, why? And I said, it says I'm out of hours or something, which I had no idea I had because I never used that long. So, and I had to go back in to re-up it. And then it didn't have that $28 one anymore. It said $45 for that. And I went, are you serious? So there was 3 tiers. It was free, 28, and then I think the top tier at that point was $50 some. They jumped it all up, which must mean
Yeah.
everybody.
they keep raising their rates, and then you have all kinds of technical problems all the time with it. It's crazy.
100%. And it's always doing things. How many times have you guys seen me live in the middle of a live stream and it glitches and just shuts down like I was done?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's not a perfect service, and it's definitely not worth $100 a month for the top tier. They also have like a business or a commercial side to it, which I have no use for.
Right.
It just irritates me. They more than doubled it per se in some senses with it. And it's like, no, all I need you for is to be able to link this to my YouTube to go live with it and give me a couple options that I use, not many. Everything else that I have used, I brought in and added it to StreamYard. I don't use any of their stuff because it's weak. It doesn't work very well and it's garbage, And so they, how I am with the surveys. When YouTube gives a survey, I'm very honest. And StreamYard did one too, and I was very honest with them. So we'll see what happens. I don't think so, Pebbles. I think you have to have it separate for your own account. I mean, I guess you could. If you all had the passwords and stuff like that, you could all kind of share it, but I don't know how easy that would be to do.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, this is like a learning thing because I want to get to know this StreamYard crap because it's complicated, but it's easy. I overthink it. So
It's the easiest one out there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good learning experience for me.
Right. Yeah. This one, in my opinion, at least, is the easiest one out there. But I've been told most recently, actually, that there's a couple more that are easier, that are free, that you don't have all this. So I don't know. I have to look into those and see what's going on because I'm all about free. I promise you. As compared to $50 almost a month for something that I use for a couple hours here and there. I mean, I do it every day, yes, but all this is a like a service that pushes this. That's all it is. I guess from my understanding, I think you can go live on YouTube itself without having a service connected to it, but you don't get the other options that it gives you with this.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, you can go live through YouTube itself, but you can't like throw up a flyer. I mean, you're basically just it's your face and that's it, or whatever you have your camera pointed at. I mean,
it's pretty dead.
Yeah.
So I had to find StreamYard, and then, hey, there's Miss Alicia. Good to see you this morning, dear. I hope you're doing well. Great to have you here. Thank you, by the way, to the Blue Crew for joining us today. Again, as always, guys, we all know that I couldn't win or shouldn't ever try to do this without them because they make everything happen for me, and I appreciate you all so very much for that. So yeah, I've looked into, don't get me wrong, OBS is really cool. There's so many things you could do with OBS. I mean, I could literally make a cartoon out of this if I want to. but you got to
Oh
layer.
yeah, yeah. My husband can do all kinds of stuff in OBS. I've tried to get him to teach me, but I can't figure it out to save my life. I have figured out how to use it to do my videos where I'm just throwing up a flyer, but yeah, as far as trying to do any editing or anything like that through OBS, I'm completely lost.
It's yeah, and that's why I said you have to link OBS with 3 or 4 other services to make it work right. And I don't get any of that. I really don't. They want you to overlay it with another one for this one and for that one for this one and this and that's like I want to be able to go into something, click on it, turn it on, and go live and be done with it. That's all I want to do. So this one thus far has been the easiest for that. And oh my, Miss Pebbles is back in the sauce with us, guys. Welcome back, Miss Pebbles. We got a new meatball floating around with us. I appreciate you very much. Congratulations. It's wonderful to have you here.
As a gay man, let me just say, the more balls, the better.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Lord. That's why I love him so much.
Absolutely. Every time. Never fails. Thank you so much, Pebbles. And thank you, Arctic. Where are we at here?
I like people that just say how they feel. No fakeness there, just roll with it. I love that.
I've been learning from him. A lot of you guys don't notice I've been listening to how he is with things and kind of following up behind him in some of the ways that he does stuff because there's no reason why not. Like I said the other day, I don't think you were here. I said that I'm tired of sugarcoating things, and maybe you were here. And with what we cover, sugarcoating it is not getting out the true meaning of what we're doing. So
Right. If they want sugar, they can go to a bakery. I mean,
thank you.
real.
So I've been saying what I feel in some senses and just making it what it is, guys. Because I like to be real. That's about as real as you get. So there's certain things I won't say just because of the uncomfortableness with certain people. But for the most part, I have no qualms about saying that Leilani Simon killed her son rather than the stupid word unaliving, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But in fact, it used to make me uncomfortable saying it. Like I felt stupid, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Phil says you should hire a 13-year-old to teach you all this, which is true because some of these 13-year-olds, they know way more about this stuff than us.
Yeah.
Shit, forget a 13-year-old. Hire a 6-year-old. There's 6-year-olds out there with YouTube channels that have the most creative editing on their videos I've ever seen in my life.
You are out. I was
crazy.
just going to say that. It's insane because, well, this is the kid that's supposed to be autistic that came in here one day and I was trying to figure something out. He goes, Dad, what is the problem? And I said, you don't know. Just back up. I got it. He goes, really? All you have to do is click this, and then you go over here and you move that there and then you click this. And I went, okay, I feel about that big now and it's stupider than hell because it didn't take him but 3 seconds to fix the problem. So again, no. And that proves there's the proof that I've been stating that people like to think that autistic kids or autistic people are just, they're stupid or they're slower or this and that. No, they're not. Not even close. They're smarter than most of us are.
Not at all.
They're
My
beyond.
9-year-old is unreal. He will help me with anything, TVs, and I mean anything. And he teaches me stuff every day. I'm thinking, wow.
Every time we've gotten a TV, like a new TV, a couple different times, he shows us how to set everything up with it. He understands it all. So, and when the internet thing goes down and I have to re-log into it all the time, I struggle with that all the time. He just clicks right on it. It's a big deal. So it is what it is. That's absolutely true, though. All these younger kids absolutely get every bit of this, which is good because they're going to be the ones running the world. It's good that they know it, but we need to know too. They need to make it.
Grew up with it. I mean, when we were kids, there was no internet. I mean, even when I graduated from college, the internet really wasn't that big of a thing. So
I was just telling Twizzle helped me build this computer here that I have. Okay. And I used to be able to put a computer together the old days, Windows 98 and Windows 2000, all that stuff. What we had, I knew how to put that stuff in there. He started telling me what I needed to put a computer tower together. And I just sat there like, what? What are you talking about? A graphics card and this and that and blah. What do you mean? And he laughed and he goes, when you get everything, you call me. It took us 7 hours to put this thing together over the phone. And he had the patience of a saint with me because I had no clue what the hell I was doing. And we got it together and it's running and has been running good since. Knock on wood. except for when I unplug things and plug the wrong cord back into it, and then everything goes down because I'm an idiot. But yeah,
That was awful, but it was funny too.
oh, for God's sake. Listen, folks, if you're like me and you ever unplug, I have a huge situation going on here, okay? With multiple plugs and power strips and all sorts of stuff. Please tag all of your plugs if you unplug anything. I was stupid and unplugged it all at the same time when I was moving everything. Well, 3 or 4 of my outlet plugs look like they're the same thing. They're blocks on the end that you plug into the wall, so on and so forth. And I swear to God that both my monitors had the same plug. They didn't. Why, I don't know, because they're the same brand. The only one that's different is my other monitor that's up here. These two here have the same exact plug. I plugged them both in, and the one monitor stopped working. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? Well, what I figured out was that another piece of equipment that I have has the almost exactly the same plug outlet as the monitor does, and I mixed them up and I plugged that in instead. Therefore, I was looking at everything. My monitor was broke. I was pissed off because it was new, and so on and so forth. And it ended up being my stupidity. So if you do stuff like that, or you're as dumb as I am to do things like that, please just mark it so you don't do that. Because I was getting ready to send this back to the company and cuss them out over this, that, and everything else. And there was nothing. It was just me and my stupidity. So welcome, Mama D. Good to see you today. Did I miss? No, I thought. So yeah, that's my technological level. I'm getting better though. I'm getting better. I'm learning things little by little.
Well, Stormy, I understand what you're saying about working for Apple, and then today you feel so technically challenged because back in the day, I worked for AOL doing tech support, and I also worked for AT&T Wireless. And I did not have the patience for that stuff. The first time you have a customer and you're trying to tell him to hit pound on his phone, and instead he pounds the phone against the table. Oh my God!
Yes, people are awesome. People are awesome.
I'm telling you, I would have little old ladies and I'd tell them to eject their CD-ROMs and they'd be like, "Do you mean this cup holder thingy?" And I'm just like, "Oh my God."
I did.
So-
I get it, bro. I get it. I did a stint for AT&T business to business through the cell phone side. And I was dealing with people that had like fleet accounts where they had like 15 different lines. And it was all iPhone stuff. You could get other phones, but most of the big one was I hate iPhones. Everybody knows I hate iPhones. I can't stand it. And I had no idea how to use them. But to get the job at the point, I said, "Hey, I can do this." No. I had to learn. But yeah, there are some people. What he just said is fact. Literally like fact. Yeah. It amazes you're sitting here going, how do these people get up and put their shoes on every day and go to work and do things, you know?
I told one little old lady, I was like, "Do you have a neighbor?" "Yeah." "Well, how old is he?" He's 7." I was like, "Here's what you do. You go grab that 7-year-old, you bake him some cookies, you tell him what's going on with your computer, and let him sit there and guide you through this."
Yep. Those are the ones. They know everything. They do, and it's no big deal.
We are just at this age now where children really are the future. And so we look at these kids like, "Oh my goodness, you're so smart." But when we were little, I guarantee you people were looking at us like, "Oh, they're so smart."
Well, I used to be the person that people would come to help them deal with their computer. I don't know nothing about that shit anymore. I mean, I do now.
Well, they've changed so much. I mean, the technology is completely different now than when it was back in the days when we were all using AOL and stuff.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you could run a computer system for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. They outdate within a month now, guys. They literally do. It's crazy. And I never had any like I would be able to just go into the system, change this and that and everything else. Nothing is like it used to be. I have no idea half the time what I'm doing. I've screwed up so much shit. I have to go to somebody that knows what they're doing and say, "Hey, what is this? What's that? What do I do here? How do I do that?" Even as much as to go in and turn my speakers up in the system rather than here, because I have so many plugs on this thing now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And everything runs something, and that, you know, it all lights up nice and pretty now, and it's got fan 72 fans going to keep it cool, and it's got some other thing in it, this and that. It's like, what is all this for? Never had to be that way, and it all worked fine before. Why did they do all this? I will say the abilities that it has now is amazing to me. You know, the things we can do and stuff like that, but still, and it's so expensive now. It's so expensive. It's crazy. I
Well,
used to be
Alicia, I can tell you, Samsung's not much better. Like my phone's only like a year and a half old, and my charge port, I literally have to hold my cable into my charge port because my charge port's so loose that my cable will fall out if I don't.
That's why I stopped using Samsung, because that's the same problem I had with mine, two of them. But I'm gonna tell you right now, don't go to Motorola. This is the newer one that I got when the other one went down. The service for this is garbage. Literally, I don't care where I go. It's garbage. Something inside of it is not, it doesn't work well. So I don't like this phone. My wife has an iPhone now. And I still hate the iPhones. She never wanted one, but her daughter bought her one because her daughter's an Apple person with everything. She's got the watch and this and that and everything else. So she bought her one. And she likes the phone, but she can only turn it on. Like if you call her, she can only talk to you whilst on speakerphone. I can't figure it out to save my life. The kids couldn't figure it out. And I'm thinking at this point, there's something wrong with the phone. But, you know, it's just, there's so many things with Apple that I can't stand. You got to buy this to do that. And you got to have everything costs something. Like as to where Android, most everything was free. It's just, they're better phones in my opinion. I get arguments from everybody, but hey, is what it is. Oh wow. Yes, I bet you do, buddy. Oh my goodness. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. The Galaxy. That's what I used to have, were the Galaxies, but those got almost damn near as expensive as the iPhones are. So,
Oh yeah, the Galaxies are high. I think Austin's is an S21, and I don't even remember what we paid for it. And then mine's a Galaxy, but it's like an A15 or something like that. It's the great value of Galaxies. So
right, the Temu version of it. No, I get it. Yeah, and yes, Pebble says my port is. You guys are both on one that I love it, but I have an Apple. I get it. That's the other thing is my wife's charging cords for iPhone, they die really quick. I don't understand it. Mine lasts forever.
God, yes. Preston will go through a new one every month for his iPad, and phones are just the same.
It's like I felt hers a couple different times, and it feels like it gets hot too. It's weird.
I thought they fixed the iPhones and the iPads to where they just take a basic USB-C charger now.
So the iPad does. It takes the C to C for the iPad, but then my iPhone's the old one, the old regular little white charger thing. But it's a 14, but still, they have this something about those cords. It's not right. If you use it for anything else, it won't never work again for your phone or iPad.
No, if you plug it into something else, 100%, it's crazy. So no, I know the Androids use the C cord, the C charger, but the Apple or anything Apple has those flat, whatever the hell those are that plug into it. They're weird.
They used to. Now they have the C. The new iPhone now has the C. But so do the iPads. But if you use that for anything else, even like to recharge your mouse, anything else that's C, your cord just quits working for your phone. I don't know why.
That must be rated only for that device then.
Yeah, something.
That's weird. See, she uses hers is a iPhone 14? What's that? What are they up to now?
A 16.
Okay, yeah, she's got a 14. Before that, her daughter bought her a 12 used to try it out for her. Or maybe she gave it to her because that was her old one. She has the newest one every time. So she works for Goodyear and like technical support. That's the funny thing is she's an IT person. And I can't take direction from her at all. It kills me. With anything she's tried to help me with, I cannot take direction from her. I'm one of those people that has to do it hands-on to learn something, or I just won't get it. You could tell me till you're blue in the face. I'm not going to understand it until I put my hands on it and do it myself. So, just saying, it was a law that all chargers must. So I could use, you can use the same charger you used on an Android on an iPhone now?
On the new iPhones, yeah, because they've converted the iPhones, the new ones, to where they use the same USB-C charger as what the other phones are using. So
But now the new iPads, you have to have the C to C. So it's not USB on one end. It's like you have to have a box that holds a C end, and then the other end is also C.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
weird.
I know. I know.
That's dumb. That's how you know Apple's just trying to get you to give them money.
Right, because it's expensive.
Of course. Of course. Oh, well. Gotta love modern technology. Doesn't work half the time, and that's what runs our planet now. So it is what it is. So be it. I don't know. But anyway, welcome again, everybody, guys. Please make sure to hit the like button when you come in. Share this out if you would. I appreciate you. Welcome, Phil. Great to see you. Brutally honest. Great to have you here. Anybody else I missed, I will catch up with you. I promise. First and foremost, as we do every day, we're going to look into this because now they're saying that there is a possibility of another storm popping up, another tropical storm. This is so crazy, and I can't wait till, what is it, the end of November when they're done with these, typically?
It's not normal to have this many, is it? Or
I've never seen it like this, but I might be wrong.
someone just needs to give that Mother Nature bitch some Midol. I swear, this year's been rough.
She's pissed. She is pissed at everybody this year. And yes, Alicia, I did see that. We're going to look at that too. Lieutenant Dan got arrested, folks. How about that one? I can't say I'm overly surprised, but just saying. Lieutenant Dan Pebbles is the guy that, if you, I don't know if you saw it, but he has one leg and he has a boat that he lives in, and he stayed in the boat during the hurricane, and it was a big deal that they put out all over the internet, and now he's been arrested, from my understanding. We're going to look into it, but yeah, I'm not super surprised. I'll just say that. So let's see what Mr. Weatherman here is talking about with this developing storm, supposedly. So hopefully it doesn't affect anybody, and I'm not going to go through the whole rigmarole of this. We'll figure out where it is or what it is, and then out we go, because I can't listen to him too much nonstop like this. So let's see what he says.
I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to look ahead to the next area that I do believe will develop, the next spot we're watching, and we'll just take it storm by storm. This here is what is left of Oscar. That is really fallen apart as expected.
And that was good, as I talked about yesterday. Oscar has dissipated into nothing pretty much and moved out to sea. Thank the Lord, Nadine's gone, and now we're talking about something else.
We have a tropical wave moving closer to Trinidad and Tobago. So for us from Trinidad up through St. Lucia, Barbados, some extra rain and storms. This here, the remnants of what was Nadine did combine with another area of low pressure. This is now Christy on the flip side in the Eastern Pacific. With all of that said, this is the area I do believe we're watching for development, especially by next week, right into the Western and Central Caribbean. Once again, a lot of rain is going to build here near the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, even over toward Haiti as we get into next week. And I do believe we have a higher chance of development there. So if we're looking ahead to where we could see your next tropical storm potentially develop, this would be the spot. And look at the models. They were all kind of picking up on this. The American model has this area becoming a hurricane. The Canadian model, which sometimes is written off, has this becoming a tropical storm. But keeping in mind, the Canadian model was really the only one that saw Oscar developing, and it did a good job with Oscar, and it's saying, hey, this spot's going to be a tropical storm. Now, the European model and the Icon, the latest kind of output from the computers, is saying no tropical storm in this area, but yesterday and parts of last night, they were showing signs of development. So all the models are at least seeing something in here. As far as what's going to develop, well, that's what we'll be tracking together. Now, what does this mean? If something develops here, well, where the heck is it going to go? Well, obviously nothing has developed yet. It is simply a spot to watch at this point. But this time of year, it is a little different. We get these fall fronts that roll through the United States. Now, sometimes these fronts can time out in which they would take something and draw it up to the north. For example, not that this is going to be a Wilma, but if you remember Wilma way back in the day, what was that, 2005, that brought something up to the north. On the flip side, just like we saw with Nadine, if these fronts kind of pass by or are weaker Oscar, whatever develops here may kind of drift its way off to the west. So not sure yet. Need to see kind of what develops, and then I'll get a good handle on the fronts up to the north. That'll be a big key by next week in steering whatever this is. Now, this may not even be a named system, but at the least, I am seeing a lot of rain building here. So kind of an early heads up in Jamaica. Nothing's necessarily coming at us, right? But, you know, kind of getting the word out that, hey, there's another spot we're going to be watching together, and we'll do so. Same thing, Cayman Islands, even over toward Haiti, parts of Cuba. This moisture may eventually lift somewhat to the north. Now, all eyes have been on the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, eastern Cuba. Fortunately, Oscar has been weakening. It's pretty much not even a tropical system at this point. But here's the spot we're watching. So let me go out in time with this and the Canadian model, just kind of going well out in time to show you exactly what I'm seeing with development. So we'll get into Oscar in a moment for our friends in Bermuda and Eastern Canada. But let's take ahead here. This is Friday and then just swinging into the upcoming weekend. So we're going well out in time here, several days out in time. Now you see here, by the time we get into Sunday, the rain starts to build. Better chance of rain, Cuba, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua. So first sign of development, the moisture that will be building. We'll start to see that this weekend. So when I join you this weekend, if we're seeing a lot of rain building here, that's really going to tell us that something is going to be developing. And then you see that surge of moisture further by the time we get into Monday. So we're looking at 6 days from now, something starting to develop according to the American model, which has done well. Each model's done pretty well at times this season. I don't just rely on the models. I really look at what's going on in the environment. But then you see here, once we get deeper into next week, this is a week from now, and then we'll go even a week and a day from now, a ton of moisture here. And the American model does try to make this either a tropical storm or even more likely eventually a hurricane. But we'll see on that. This is over a week from now. The American model does try to pull this action kind of to the north, Jamaica, back through Haiti, and over toward Cuba. But I mentioned it all depends on the timing of those fronts, right? If these fronts are really not there at this time, then whatever this area is may wiggle its way off to the west. So kind of two scenarios on where it may go. But the reason, I don't just like to tell you the weather, I like to show you the reason behind it. The steering on this is going to be the front. So if this front is in place, it'll draw it up to the north. If the front has already passed by, whatever this area is, may wiggle back to the west. So the American model saying, yeah, that's going to develop into a tropical storm, maybe in the Caribbean next week. We'll see as we work our way into tomorrow. Now, here's the Canadian model, which I don't often show. Did a really good job with Oscar. There's Oscar again, not really tropical in nature. This is the spot we're watching. Here's Trinidad. Here's Jamaica. Here we are in Trinidad here, Barbados, St. Lucia there with that tropical wave just to kind of set the stage. But Jamaica, Cayman Islands right here. So going out in time again, bringing you into the upcoming weekend. This here is by the time we get into Sunday, just like the American model, some of the extra rain just kind of building up. Here's Cuba, the extra rain building, right? So now we start to see something kind of gathering. And then I'll be fine-tuning the environmental conditions. Yeah, a lot of rain's going to build, but will that be conducive for a system to develop? Well, that's still a wait and see. But you see here's Jamaica right here. This is by the time we get into Wednesday, so a week and a day from now, it is showing some sort of a tropical entity and then eventually a tropical storm developing somewhere in the vicinity of Jamaica as we work our way into next week. Now, this is kind of what we're watching on the steering again.
So basically, Jamaica, they're going for the islands, man. Is the one that seems to be in danger as of now. If this works out the way he says. Thus far, they're not saying, like I said, I'm not going to run this whole thing, you guys. There's nothing that's coming close to the United States per se as of yet. Jamaica, if anything, is going to be the problem. Hopefully not, and hopefully this dissipates as well and doesn't turn into anything. But the thing is that these storms have a tendency to just do a 360 and head back towards us and at any given time. So thus far, as of now, like I said, I'm not going to run that whole thing. Jamaica seems to be the problem. The island's out in that direction. Hopefully everybody's okay and it doesn't turn into something bad. And we're still in the clear from what I can tell now. So that's good. Okay, Pebbles, we'll be here for a while. So come on back in anytime. We appreciate you very much and good luck at the doctor's appointment. Please be safe out there. So that's that for the storm stuff, guys, and the weather. There's nothing more coming from what I can tell from that. So yesterday, guys, I don't know if you remember. I know Doodle, you're not going to, but there was a oh Lord, it was in Washington. If you guys remember, there was multiple people found dead from a shooting, and they said that it was possibly a domestic situation, so on and so forth. There was a very vague presser that they gave on it. This has a little more information on this because I'm very curious to see what the hell's going on with this crazy situation. Multiple people deceased from gunshot wounds. I really would like to know. And they were being real quiet about it, which I understand, but they didn't give anything. So this update here from Como says a little bit more, I think. We'll see what happens. And again, thank you all for joining us and being here with us today. I hope you're all having a great day.
Saying kind of a repeat from this morning for some of you. The information that I have right now is it's good. It's general. It's preliminary because this investigation is still in its early stages, even though we're hours into this. The information I give out or have given out could change at any time. We want to update it as possible, but things can change day to day, hour to hour, potentially. So with that, let me tell you what happened this morning. King County Sheriff's Office received a few phone calls this morning, 911 calls, about some kind of disturbance with gunfire at a residential house behind us. The 7700 block of Lake Alice Road. On the way out here, so deputies from all over the north part of King County came out here from Sammamish, Snoqualmie Pass, as far as Redmond Ridge, all rushed out here at this call. En route, we learned.
Hold on, guys. I forgot that I had sped the other one up, and I don't want you to miss anything on this.
Learned that there was a neighbor who had medical experience who was providing aid to an injured individual, presumably who had been shot but was surviving. When deputies got here, they discovered sort of a chaotic scene, but what they did when they entered the property is they immediately took one young male, teenage male, into custody. They discovered that there was in fact one injured teenager.
Welcome, Mark and Betty. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you here today.
That teenager was given medical attention and was quickly transported to Harborview Medical Center. When deputies entered the residence and property itself, they discovered 5 deceased individuals inside the home. These included 2 adults and 3 juveniles. I don't have the specific ages of the juveniles, but I think it's fair to say that they were young teenagers. Beyond that, I don't know any demographic information on them. Once those bodies were discovered, clearly we understand that this is a hugely significant crime scene. And we started our incident command structure process where we started determining, first of all, we get the scene safe.
Thank you,
Second
Zelda.
of all, we determine what resources we need, who we're going to call out, how we're going to replace individuals that have other duties throughout the department. And that really started around 6:30 a.m. and we've been doing that ever since. One of the first steps was to call out our King County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit. They're going to be the lead investigators in this case. They'll live with the case from today until it's concluded sometime in the distant future. Along with that task, we called out the State Patrol, the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab Crime Scene Response Team. It was determined that this is a very significant scene with multiple victims, a difficult scene, and we needed the expertise of the State Patrol's Crime Lab to come and really take ownership of the forensic side of this. We do that because it really gives us a opportunity to know who our scientists are going to be as the case moves forward. It also gives our detectives and Major Crimes Unit a little break from having to do the forensic side of it, because we do have other homicide investigations that they're continuing to go out on and that they have in their queues. Let me take a break for a second here. Take a look at a couple notes.
So far, for those of you that didn't catch it or maybe just popped in or whatever, there's 5 people they found deceased when they arrived on this scene: 2 adults, 3 juvenile teenagers, and 1 teenager that they have in custody immediately as they got to the house. They're very vague when they explain these things, but hey, SRBBB, good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. So that's so far what's going on at this point. I'm wondering if it's going to turn into one of those crazy cases, because it's crazy. I'll say that much. We'll see what the deals are. The deal is with it. I don't know. And by the way, Zelda, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's weird how he said that. Makes me think this teenager might have done something.
That's what I'm guessing, and that's pretty wild. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's going on here?
Whole house full of people. Yes, that's very alarming. What is going on there?
It sounds like it may have killed his whole family. Do you know what I mean? Possibly.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael 007. Good to see you. Good to have you here, sir. Welcome from over the pond. So yeah, let's see what we got here. Sorry, guys.
So I wanted to acknowledge that aside from just King County Sheriff's Office folks, deputies coming out to the scene, we were assisted by Issaquah Police Department. They came out and helped us. We had other units come out and assist. So as I talked about our incident command structure, we determined that, well, through our protocols, we're going to call out members of the King County Prosecutor's Office. Excuse me. Through our protocols, we determined that we would be calling the King County Prosecutor's Office to send out one of the prosecuting attorneys. That's very standard for us at a homicide scene. That prosecutor, much like our lead detectives, will stay with the case from today until it's concluded at some point. Besides that, we'll have the King County Medical Examiner's Office bringing out investigators and their doctors so they get a firsthand opportunity to see the scene themselves. All of these people will be staying with the case throughout its life, so to speak. I want to be clear that what had happened here this morning had essentially concluded before the 911 call was made or before deputies arrived. In other words, there was no significant confrontation with the young man that was taken into custody. What had happened had happened. It was done. There was no, his detention happened without any issues or any injuries. That young man is going to be booked today into the King County Youth Center. For lack of a better term, that's the juvenile jail for King County. And that's where that young man will be. Notifications have been made to family members. I think by now, most neighbors have figured out that this is a significant event. We are going to be here as an investigative team for days, absolutely through today, absolutely through tomorrow. And I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to take as long as it takes. And that's how long we'll keep the scene secure. I think that's kind of it for my presentation, but is there questions, I suppose?
Can you tell us the age of that teen that was taken into custody and if you shared anything about what happened?
I can only say that the young man appears to be school-aged, more like a high school-aged person. I don't want to be wrong if I give you a certain age, but he's a young teen. He's a teenage to mid-teens. Yeah.
And then describe again for us.
So we're going to say between 14 to 16 years old, which is, again, that's weird. Another strange situation. Welcome, Miss Cheryl. Good to see you today. Thank you for joining us. I knew there was another name. This is just sad. Stephen, good to have you here again.
I am glad that they had the foresight, though, to bring in the state agency because they knew they were in over their heads. And I wish more agencies would do that, especially in these missing cases that we cover.
100%. This is what should have happened immediately in the Idaho 4 case, right away. Okay. When you have something like this, where you have this many deceased, you got to bring in multiple agencies to regulate the situation, in my opinion, to figure out exactly what the hell happened. So, and yeah, Stormy got a good point. How'd they get a hold of a gun? Well, some families, Stormy, sadly, well, not sadly, but are gun families, but they're very educated. They have their kids learning at an early age, so on and so forth. But you also need to keep these things put away. I have a feeling that there's going to be some form of a mental health issue that comes from this at some point. We'll see. And then that's the sad side of it. So I hope, I don't know. They're being very tight-lipped with this right now. One, because I believe this, because the suspect is a juvenile. That's part of it. And they're not 100% sure exactly what all has gone down at this point. So I think we'll get the real deal out of it soon. So, but good points and good question. You're okay, SRB.
Probably got the gun from home because so many of these gun owners don't know how to keep their shit locked up, unfortunately. And that's why I'm glad that they're starting to hold some of these parents accountable when the kids get a hold of the guns and do something like this.
Yeah, agreed. They do, and they are. That's good. We've seen a couple cases like that now where before they weren't doing that, and it's a sad thing. There's too many people that have guns that just leave them sit around nightstand in their bedroom or here or there where that child can just get a hold of it, and it turns out to be a really messed up situation. It's really bad. So I agree. And the opposite happened in Idaho. The police shut down any form of transparency, keeping the public informed. Yeah. And I think it was a mistake in the very beginning because that's where all the bullshit came from. There was no transparency, and everybody thought that led to the conspiracy bullshit that happened with it. So, I understand you got to keep certain things quiet, but there should have the way that law enforcement handled that, I think they were unprepared for it. And I think that's why that happened that way. So that's just my opinion.
Sure. So what our deputies discovered in the house was 2 adult individuals and 3 obvious juveniles. I'm not going to say what their roles in life. I can't even say for sure whether this is a parent and children. I just don't know the relationships. They could be any type of relationship. So I'm going to withhold confirming any relationships, but it does appear to be that this is a family incident, clearly a domestic violence incident that involves not only a young man who's now in significant trouble, and it involves firearms, young men and firearms.
So I know the call initially came in as a possible suicide. So did this team, can we assume, called in to report a possible suicide when the calls began?
Yeah, thanks. In fact, I did want to clarify a couple things about the initial call out. I know there's been some word about the way the call came out, and it was described as a potential suicide, or that in fact somebody had committed suicide, potentially by hanging. As we speak now, several hours later, we've determined that was a miscommunication, a misunderstanding between the 911 caller and our call taker. The word hiding might have been misconstrued as hanging. And so our deputies did come in thinking we had some sort of a suicidal situation or perhaps a completed suicide. But really, once they got on scene, met with the first witnesses, met with the young men that they ultimately took in custody, and of course found the deceased bodies, it became evident that there was no hanging involved. I'm not going to comment on the specific content of the initial 911 calls because, as you all know, those actually become evidence.
You mentioned the one injured teen, and then also I heard you say firearms.
Sure.
Plural. So could you tell us what you know about the injuries, and then
Sure.
were there multiple firearms?
I know that the person that was transported to the hospital with injuries to at least 2 parts of their body was a teenager, probably, again, mid-teens. These are not small toddlers. These are not kids in the single digits, as far as I know. I use the term firearms in general. I know that the deaths were perpetrated by firearm. I don't know if there's multiple firearms in the house. I don't know how many were used. That is something that our major crimes unit detectives are physically looking at right now as we speak.
So can you tell us if the teen that you've taken into custody and the teen that went to the hospital, are they related? Is that a good assumption?
They live in the same house, so I'll be clear. The young man that was taken in custody and the other teen that was injured and is now at the hospital, they do reside at that same house. I don't know their relationships. I can certainly surmise that maybe they're siblings, but I can't say that right now. I don't know what the relationship was, other than that they reside at the home together.
Upon you taking him, detaining this teen, is there anything that he said that you might be able to share with us?
I can't share anything about what our major crimes detectives said during their interviews, what they learned. I know that they've been doing their job. They would have been interviewing the injured individual. They certainly would have been interviewing what we'll call the juvenile suspect. And the content of those conversations is not appropriate for release right now.
For the 3 kids, were they boys, girls, and I know you said that there was possible gunshots. For the 5 victims, did they have any gunshot injuries?
Well, I'm not going to speak to the exact cause and manner of death. That'll be something the King County Medical Examiner's Office does. However, we were called out as a gunfire disturbance to begin with. So it's fair to say that is clearly what we think had happened, but I haven't been inside the crime scene. The investigators are actually just now getting to the crime scene as far as looking at the physical bodies. The King County Medical Examiner's Office isn't here yet, and they probably won't be here for several hours, if not tomorrow. Sometimes we need to leave the evidence where it is, and deceased bodies are quite often evidence. And I know it's tough to say sometimes, but those, we might need to do what it takes to keep the evidence in its best condition for the medical examiner to see. And if that's today or tomorrow, they'll be there until we're done examining them.
And so are the 3 kids, are they boys, girls?
Thanks. I do not know the makeup of these children other than that they are teenagers, and I don't know their exact ages. I don't know their sexes. At least that's something that the detectives haven't released to me yet.
My other question for you, sorry, can you confirm, so where the tent is behind you, is the house directly to the right of that on the lake? And then 2, is there any reason to believe that there could be an additional arrest in this case?
So the residence that this happened is a single family residence. It is on the lakeside down the street. It is just past or right near the tent where they're working right now. I have no reason to think that there's going to be any additional arrests. I do not believe that there's any continued concern of the neighborhood safety or general safety to the public. This incident was a very contained tragedy within a family or with an extended family or the residents here. And as bad as it is, at least it stayed contained within this property.
You may or may not know this, but the school district took it upon themselves to send out an alert to families saying that there has been a tragedy in the city. Be aware and talk to your kiddos. But they also went on to say that the children involved were school age, which it sounds like that is true, and that they're homeschooled. Is that something, the homeschooling, can you confirm that, even though you may not know the relationship between the adults and the children?
Sure. So I think earlier today we talked about, maybe stakeholders is not the right phrase, but there are plenty of concerned individuals and entities when something like this happens all over the country. I certainly don't blame the school district to want to put something out. It's within their right. They may not have all the accurate information. It's something that we wouldn't release yet, as far as the demographics of who these people are, whether they're students here or somewhere else or homeschooled. All those things will be documented within the case reports, but these reports are not going to be completed or available for really months down the road. I'm sure we will be able to give updates as the days go on. I suspect that this briefing right now will be the last one for today. But, by all means, please ask. So excuse me. I did do a general search of this address and really found nothing of interest. There was no repeated calls out here. The police haven't come out to this address really for any significant reason for years. So it's nothing that the local police department knew as a, quote, problem house at all.
Have the search warrant, you said you were waiting on it, so obviously has that already been executed or beginning to be executed? And also, were there any social media posts or anything alarming?
Sure.
You've been able to uncover stuff?
So, yeah, so what gives us the right to be on the property is a court-authorized search warrant. That's the first thing our major crimes units detectives had to do. That search warrant has been obtained, and they have served it, and they're continuing to serve it right now. I would, based on my experience on these type of cases, this will not be the only search warrant that has been sought or granted. You talk about social media. I would think that anybody interested in this case would want to know what led up to it, most importantly, and were there things that were red flags or signs, and social media will certainly be part of that. That will require additional search warrants for electronic devices, search warrants for cell phones, for social media apps. In 2024, there's a lot of search warrants that need to be issued, served on various companies nowadays. So I would expect that to happen here.
Animal control is starting to go that way too. Is that just to gather pets, or the pets that were also killed?
I have no information about any pets being killed. That the house does have some animals, and it's really our protocol to come and get the scene cleared out of animals and things that might potentially destroy evidence. So the animals come out right away. Animal control takes care of them, and we'll do whatever it is with their protocols to release them to somebody.
This is so significant, obviously, but I can think back to Incarnation some years ago. You guys had a big case like this.
Sure.
When's the last time? Was that it?
Well, I guess in the public memory, Carnation came to everybody's mind as we all responded. Those who've been around long enough, like myself and many of these detectives and officers, the Carnation incident from 2007 certainly was an obvious comparison. Unfortunately, since 2007, we've had several domestic violence, multiple victim homicides over the years. Even in this general area, without getting into the specifics, we've had plenty of cases like this. Each one a tragedy, each one for their own nuanced reasons that they occurred, and hopefully we'll come to some kind of conclusion as to why this.
Welcome, Philip. Good to see you today, sir. Hope you're having a great day, and I appreciate you joining us.
Happened.
What
Anything
is
else?
that teen going to be charged with, or what is he being booked on?
I don't have a specific answer as to what crime he's going to be booked on. Based on my experience in this business, he's going to be booked on some type of a murder first degree, murder second degree charge initially. Keep in mind, though, there's a large difference between what you're booked under, what you're charged under, and what you're ultimately convicted or acquitted under. So these things can change. So the initial booking, although it's going to have the word murder in it, could change.
Wow. I'm trying to see if there is anything new. This was 16 hours ago. I'm like really curious to know what the hell set this off.
Oh, I want to know what set it off too. And this may be a hot take and it may be an unpopular opinion. I understand that these are juveniles that we're talking about, and I'm all about protecting the anonymity of the victims. But the
Mhm.
perpetrator, I don't care how young you are, when you decide to man up and start killing an entire family, you've lost every right to anonymity, and you should have everything about you put on display for all the world to hear.
I agree. So he is 15 years old. Okay, that I know. Thank you, Zelda. I think CNN has a little bit more info on this here. So 15 years old, he killed 5 people. This is a mental health thing, in my opinion, unless it's just some stupid thing. But I'm this, in my opinion, it's a mental health thing. Let me see here.
They discovered sort of a chaotic scene, but what they did when they entered the property is they immediately took one young teenage male, into custody.
The parents probably thought they were doing the right thing by homeschooling their children, protecting them from these sort of bad things that happen to the world. And here it happens right from within. And I don't even know what to think.
Characterize this scene as a firearms related incident, domestic violence incident. As far as the specific numbers of victims, it's significant. I'm not going to say the number of victims right now. I don't know if the term mass shooting is appropriate, but it's a tragic domestic violence situation.
Okay, so what the struggle is with this story is that it was a couple and their 5 children lived in the home, and they're saying that they don't know if the shooter was related at this point still. One of the children seems to have survived it, at least thus far. I don't know yet.
That's odd. That's kind of weird. I mean, so
It
was
is a
this maybe
strange,
a friend that stayed over?
or a cousin, or something like that, or a neighbor that came in, and I don't know. That's why this is weird. This may turn into something big, you guys. You know how these cases go. It's not listed as a mass shooting or it's a mass murder, but as of yet, it's not listed as a mass shooting. So I don't know. I mean, you don't very often see a mass shooting happen in a residential home. You see it in a mall or a store or a movie theater or something like that. This is new, if that's what they're going to categorize this as. But
Right. Or some kind of domestic. Usually it's domestic or something like that, unless it's a big public place. So this
right.
makes me think this could be a cousin that stayed over or a friend of one
Mm-hmm.
of the children. But wow, so many questions though.
A 15-year-old too, and yeah, I'm curious, and I agree with Arctic. If you're gonna play like a big boy, you're gonna pay like a big boy. Sorry. Anonymity is 100% not a right to you at this point. If you're taking out a whole family, I'm hoping it's not his own family, but at this point, who knows? Damn, this is
The
crazy, guys.
report said something about what right did you have to go in and search. I was like, how about the fact that there was a mass fucking shooting? I mean, seriously, you don't. They shouldn't even need a warrant to search the house in that type of event, in my opinion. I mean, the
No,
crime's
and
been committed. You've got bodies laying everywhere. You know,
they said that
and
they had multiple 911 calls about shots being fired. So there you go. That's your right to go search right there. Who's shooting guns off that you're not supposed to be doing?
Yeah, but I think they were covering their own rear ends because you don't want to mess anything up to where this can get thrown out.
Oh,
that's
no.
true too. But they definitely do need to get the warrants for the electronic devices and everything, because who knows, this may have been something that the guy had been talking to his friends about and stuff.
Or
And, you know,
ISIS. There was a lot of teenage kids that were getting involved in the ISIS situation, becoming part of the group, were being groomed to be terrorists. And
yeah,
I've seen that happen too. So yeah,
Yep.
it could be. And it was all over social media, folks. I'm not saying that's what this is. I'm just giving you guys examples of different scenarios of how these things can happen. So this is scary. I mean, to go into this, can you imagine being law enforcement going into this? Like, wow, the
No,
overwhelming,
not at all. Dang.
and they're all school-age children.
Well,
That's
I mean, and, you know, it's easy to recruit these teens for ISIS when you tell a 13-year-old, "Hey, you'll have 100 virgins waiting on you when you get to the afterlife." What they don't realize is those 100 virgins probably look like Bullhorn Betty. So,
right.
Oh
And
my God. Oh my God.
all the riches that are promised through that whole, yeah, it's a mess. But I really want to know if they're going to give us anything else on this. It's driving me nuts.
And that also is worrisome. I mean, you got to think about who you let stay all night at your house with your children.
And see, this is where it's becoming a problem, you guys. Now, you know, every day we have to add more dangers to our lifestyles. Okay, more things that we normally would take for granted. You know, your son has a friend, and they're going to come spend the weekend. Is that okay nowadays? Like, here, if this is what this is, well, damn, now you got to do a background check on everybody that your son becomes friends with, or your children become friends with, to make sure that they're not going to do something to you.
You have to check their stuff. I mean, who would have ever? How many times have you ever stayed all night at your friend's house and their parents had to check your bag? I mean,
it's getting to the point that we no longer just need the metal detectors in the schools. We need them in our fucking homes so that we can make sure that no one's bringing anything in, none of my kids' friends or whatever, and then they're going to turn around and shoot all of us.
Exactly. Did he bring the gun in from his own home? Was the gun from this home? I mean, this
and
stuff is
a lot of these little small towns don't have metal detectors. We don't have metal detectors.
Oh, we do now. We do
Yeah,
now.
that's crazy to me because it's like you see so many of these happen in small towns. What's the problem?
Right. No, I agree. They were putting metal detectors. They put metal detectors in my junior year when I was leaving school at the school. But I went to a very big inner city high school that had multiple law enforcement officers as resource officers at that time, because there was always something going on there. But again, like you're saying, small towns are going through this stuff at this point now too. So this is scary, you guys. Like, when you have to go through and do a whole background check on one of your kids' friends just to make sure they're not going to come in and shoot up your household while they're sleeping at night, something's wrong. Okay, there's something really wrong.
And see, that's just, to me, if you don't have metal detectors at your school and then a mass shooting happens there, that school opens themselves up for all kinds of lawsuits for negligence, because this is 2024, not 1984. It's just like any school that doesn't have cameras now. There's a case out in Nebraska where an autistic child went missing, and they didn't have any cameras up at their fucking school. To me, that holds that school to some type of liability because everywhere, I mean, they don't cost that much. Yes, a metal detector may cost a little bit of money, but you know what's worse, spending $1,500, $2,000 or whatever it is on a metal detector, or losing 30 lives because you allowed a mass shooter to get in there because you didn't take the proper precautions?
Right.
Exactly. I agree.
No, 100%. 100%. And they've turned to doing things like locking the school doors when the kids are inside now. That's, sad, but it's what they got to do. And you have to get in by being let in by a resource officer. Our resource officers are armed police officers in the school now, as well as with my son's school, at least. 2 other teachers, I do believe, that are armed teachers now because of a situation. My son's school, I think it was it last year, Doodle, when they had the bomb threat that the girl called in?
Yeah.
2 of them,
Yep.
and it wasn't a joke. They found something. I don't know what she was trying to do, but they found something. It wasn't something they said would have done any damage, but still, she was attempting something. Okay.
Right, and we
And
don't pay taxes for our schools, so we should demand that. I think I'm gonna set up something to where we demand that something gets done because we only have one school resource officer for 4 schools.
see that
Wow.
that
There's
doesn't
no
make sense.
way he can make it to 4 different schools if something major was going on. So
That's
there's
that's
gotta
what
be
happened here. Yeah. And here's the thing is they got rid of our local police department here about 6 months ago, and they brought in the county. And we have a county deputy that works there that the school has to pay for. Okay. Before they had a local police officer in each school, the elementary the elementary and the high school. The high school is middle and high school here, and then the elementary school sits in front of it. So there was one in each school. Now we have one deputy that is the deputy that not only is he the resource officer for all the schools, but he's also the deputy that's on duty out here in our township if something happens. So how the hell does that work? So he leaves the school to go on a call and then comes back if need be. And if they need backup, of course they call it, but they have to come from the other side of the county sometimes, which can take 45 minutes. Okay.
Which to a criminal, they could use that to their advantage because they could make a fake call. The resource officer leaves, then they go to the school and do what they're doing.
They've already done that.
Exactly. And then on top of all of this, they're taking our kids' phones away from them while they're in school. So if something happens, they have no way to call and let their family know what's going on or call for help, because if they've got
You're right. You're right. And now they have teachers armed, and I'm not comfortable with that either. Okay, because if you have a high school kid that let's say, I'm sure that these teachers have to go through a background and all this other stuff and have training courses. I get that. Okay. But say you have a disgruntled student. It's a big 16, 17-year-old kid that's bigger than the police officer that could overpower him and take the gun from him. And guess what? Or not the police officer, but the teacher. And teachers and students get into squabbles all the time. I'm just
not only that, but we cover cases where the teachers are abusing these students on the regular. So why not? Let's hand them guns so they can do even more damage. Not only that, but when law enforcement gets there and there's 2 adults holding guns, how do they know who the criminal is and who the one trying to protect the kids are?
Yeah, it's a good point too. I mean, that could cause a mess. It truly could. It's nice to know.
Though, because I kind of feel like I would feel more at ease if a teacher had a weapon that they could stop the shooter before it got to their classroom.
Yeah.
But then what do you do if they're careless with it and a student picks it up? I mean, you're really just putting way too much trust in a stranger. I don't know.
Point. I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm torn on this whole thing. I like the idea of having the ability to have more than just a resource. Because here's the deal with me with this. Say the resource officer does have to leave to go to the other school or to go deal with something else. Somebody uses that to their, to do what they want to do, and they go in at that point, and they get in, and he's not there. Granted, he's on his way back at some point, I'm sure, but meanwhile, multiple people could lose their life. And
well, they need to do what they do here, because here every one of our schools, including the elementary schools, has a school resource officer assigned to it. That
Yeah,
way, that's
it
the
should be
solution,
that.
in my opinion. Not arming civilians, especially teachers who are terribly underpaid to begin with. They don't earn enough money to have that responsibility thrust upon them.
No, I agree with that one. I will say this though, it made me more comfortable knowing that both the teachers one of them is a coach too, but both of them they have previous military background. They looked in depth into them, and they don't carry their weapons where they're visible at all. So that did make me more comfortable with the situation, and it is a comforting thought to know that there is the possibility that if need be, these two can step in and they're on radios all the time, so on and so forth. It's still, the whole thing is, guys, is that we shouldn't have to be at this point to begin with. Okay, that now we're arming teachers. Now we have metal detectors in schools. Now we have resource officers. Jesus Christ, when I was in elementary school, seeing a police officer in your school was like, oh my God, what happened? Or they're here to give a speech about something. I can't imagine what our grandkids are, I should say, are gonna like. I can't even figure out how to explain this. They don't know what we went to school with, and it was nothing like this when we went to school. That's the point I'm trying to make. The
Oh yeah.
changes have been so dramatic, okay, over the past 35 years. It's unbelievable to think that we're at this point now, is what I'm saying. Back
Well, and part of it is that whenever one of these school shootings take place, they pretty much give these students that commit these atrocious crimes all kinds of publicity. They become legends. They become famous. I mean,
yeah, that's why some of them do it, right?
yeah.
That is absolutely correct. And another part of it is, which is something that I think is a big fucking problem, is my son's school claims to be a zero tolerance school. That's bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. There are so many kids that are getting bullied in that school in there, including my child until just recently, because he turned into an ogre and people don't mess with him anymore. But they're still being bullied, which is what pushes these kids, not only from the school, but from the kids that go to the school via social media. They're humiliating these people. They're ruining their lives, these children, until they feel like they have no choice. That's not the way this should be, guys. But for being a zero tolerance school, explain to me how I know of 5 kids that are bullied on a daily basis still. That I don't even go there. Okay. My child was one of them for the longest time. Throughout his entire school career. So for zero tolerance, you're full of shit. You don't pay attention. And yet you say this to look good, but you don't do anything about it. And that's the problem. So it bothers me in a bad, bad way. Yes, there is one of our bus drivers that is armed as well. But that bus driver is actually a auxiliary police officer as well. So that's nice to know too. Just saying, it's a lot to take in, knowing that we have gotten to this point, you guys. It's a very saddening thing. And like, now looking towards our future, my grandkids that are just starting in elementary school, this is their life now. And this is a fear. Doodle and I have talked about this, I don't know how many times, where every day that she gets up and gets pressed and ready to go to school, she's shell shocked. She's nervous.
Definitely. It's scary. I mean, you just don't know.
And is not comfortable till he walks back in that door. I'm the same way with Caden. You guys have seen me. Caden's 5-10 minutes late. Where the hell's he at? What's going on? Why? And he's a grown man basically at this point. I'm still nervous about it. Why? Why is he late? Why? I shouldn't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's ridiculous that we're at this point now, and I don't understand why it has been. I don't understand it. It feels to me like there's things that could have or should be done that could prevent this, and it's just not happening. So, and see that we talked about homeschooling at some point too because of Caden's issues, but his doctor, and she made a huge point, said that could make his issues worse because he needs social interaction. And granted, he has been bullied and this and that, but you still need that social interaction, because when they don't get it, these kids become introverts. in a lot of ways, and that in turn causes other things to happen still.
Yep. The doctor
So,
said the same thing about Preston. Any child with autism, high functioning or not, they have to be able to figure out how to socially get along with people. And
yes,
because they're so literal, we allow it because we're used to it, but other
you're
people
right,
don't. So that's kind of their learning curve of, oh, I can't say this or that because we're so
right,
used to it, you know.
yeah, and that's the only reason why Caden's not been homeschooled, because he needs that interaction and needs to learn how to be able to adapt and learn how to deal with people, have friends. He's had his feelings hurt. There's times I wanted to go beat up 12-year-old kids over my son having his feelings hurt because all he's trying to do is be somebody's friend, and they're saying he's weird because he's overly outgoing. You know what I mean? And we can't do that, guys. We can't do that. And that's the sad part with this. It has become, kids are mean. Kids are so mean. And now that we have internet and social media, it made it even worse because now they can do it all through there. My son, they all feel stupid now, which I think is great. When he was in 7th grade, because he was trying to impress people, was singing a song on the playground, or not 6th grade, sorry. And they filmed it with one of their phones. And then they embarrassed him by putting it out on YouTube or Facebook. People were laughing at him, making fun of him. Well, now everybody knows that Caden is like a singer. Okay. So now these kids are like, they feel stupid at this point because now it turned out to be this, but it doesn't work out that way with every situation. When you humiliate children on the internet and it gets to the whole world and people are laughing at them every day when they're in school, sometimes they take their own life, folks. And that's a horrible thing. Okay. Because they don't see any other way to go. That is disgusting to me that kids are that mean. I mean, they were bullies when I was bullied till I was in 3rd grade until I beat the hell out of the kid that was doing it. And they finally gained their respect for me and left me alone. But still, it doesn't happen that way in every aspect. Okay. And that is what I'm saying. It's horrible. It is horrible how kids treat each other. And I think it goes back to parenting. Parents allow for it. Not
Well,
every parent.
and if the teachers did the job that they are paid to do, as well as the principals, and did something to stop all the fucking bullying that takes place in school, instead of punishing the person that's being bullied when they do finally stand up for themselves, I don't think we'd have near the problem with the school shootings that we have right now.
Probably not. No, probably not, because that's happened to him. He was doing nothing wrong when he threw that kid in the garbage can, and he got 1 day of suspension. The other kid got 10. You're still punishing him for doing something, but we have to make it fair. Bullshit. My son did nothing. It was on camera. He tried to avoid that situation in every aspect until at the very end, he was pushed to the point where he couldn't take it, and he grabbed the kid and he threw him in the garbage can. Okay? And I laughed. Along with multiple other people that laughed when we watched the video. And I told him, I gave him a high five. I said, good for you. Now, that's not good parental training. I understand that. But you know what? At the same time, when they called that asshole kid's parents, they said that my son was bullying him. My son doesn't know how to bully people. He's too kind. Okay? And it was all on video. So he was trying to get out of it. And they believe this child, who's a problem child, obviously. And I'm sure there's probably issues at home, whatever. That's not my business. I don't care. When it affects my son is when I care. So he's still, like you said, he's still being punished for all he was doing was defending himself, and because he was pushed to the limit. That should never happen. That is a problem. So I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. If these kids would see some kind of resolve to what they do to resolve the situation at some point, when they finally get to that last leg and they can't handle it anymore, and they don't need to be punished for that. I don't care what your protocol is. I don't care what your rules are. They did what they had to do to diffuse the situation at the end of this situation. They don't need to be punished for that because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. He had to do this. That's a problem. So just saying. 100% Stormy. That's fact.
Where they discovered sort of a chaotic scene. But what they did when they entered the property is they immediately took one young male, teenage male, into custody.
You know, the parents probably thought they were doing the right thing by homeschooling their children, protecting them from these sort of bad things that happen to the world. And here it happens right from within. And I don't even know what to think.
Characterize this scene as a firearms related incident, domestic violence incident. As far as the specific numbers of victims, it's significant. I'm not going to say the number of victims right now. I don't know if the term mass shooting is appropriate, but it's a tragic.
Wow. Well, hopefully this still doesn't give us more than the fact that he's 15 years old. Maybe we'll get more info on this soon. I don't know. That's the one that they're. Hold on a minute. Okay. Yeah, they said this one is a different story, but I don't think it tells much more. Hold on.
The teenager accused of shooting and killing 5 people in Falls City set to face a judge this afternoon.
It's just a horrific story. The alleged crime taking place along the 7700 block of Lake Alice Road Southeast. Stella's son joins us now with some new information. And Stella, this is a tragic update to the story we were tracking this time yesterday as breaking news.
Yeah, this is
from 1 hour ago, by the way, guys. And welcome, Virginia Wolf. Good to see you today, my friend.
It's an awful development that we have to share with you. 3 teens and 2 adults are the victims in the shooting. That's according to the King County Sheriff's Office. We are still waiting on the medical examiner's office to release the names of the victims. But what we can say right now is that people who live in this area are just shocked and absolutely heartbroken at what happened here. And it actually looks like someone who lives around this area left some flowers not far from the home and from the crime scene. Right now, we know there is a teen girl who survived this tragedy. She's being treated at Harborview Hospital. While law enforcement did not dive into the details of the identities of the victims or their ages, multiple neighbors we spoke with say a family of 7 lived in the home, 5 kids and 2 adults.
Sweetest children.
Okay, so we have 7 total. 3 children were killed. A 4th one survived, and then there's the 5th one that is in custody, I'm guessing, if they're related. Does that sound about right, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder. They said domestic. Now, I don't know if they mean domestic, meaning people in the home, like did they all live there?
I
I
think
don't know
so.
what they mean by domestic, because if they all lived there, it wouldn't be a friend staying over.
No, I think it was a family member at this point. They just weren't able to say that at that point. This is an hour ago now. So we have 7 total. Okay. 2 adults. So 5 kids. So that makes sense. And 3 of those kids are dead. One of them survived the shooting, and the other one's got to be the one in custody. That makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Does that make sense the way I said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, so that's probably, I don't know if it was because he was a juvenile or if they weren't sure yet, but at this point they're saying 7 total in the home, and this guy's starting to say that the kids were really good kids. So this has got to be some kind of a mental thing, like a breakdown or something like that. I don't know. I really am curious though. Let's see.
But we don't let kids be kids anymore. We expect them to be grown.
Of course, yeah. There's no such thing as being a child anymore. I'm surprised that people are still telling their children that Santa Claus exists, folks. I'm telling you, everything has changed in this world, and it's all for the negative, in my opinion. What happened to me in school in 1st grade? I am type 1, brittle, insulin-dependent diabetic, diagnosed when I was 2 years old. I passed out in 1st grade. The kids teased me when I went back. Of course, they start that young. I was in 3rd grade with a kid that had seizures, and they used to tease him about it. It's disgusting. It makes me sick. And that was back, 35 years ago. Okay, Arctic. Thanks, bud. I'll throw that up next.
So polite, homeschooled, and it's unfathomable what just happened.
Deputies say when they got to the scene just after 5 yesterday morning, they found what they describe as a chaotic scene with a mix of injured people and dead people. They ultimately took a teenage boy into custody, and that teen boy is expected to face a judge this afternoon at 1:30. Coming up in the next 45 minutes, we will share with you what is next in this investigation, all taking place here in Falls City. We are live. I'm Stella Sun, Como News. Back to you.
Yeah, so many people just wondering how something like this could happen, what led to it. A lot of those don't necessarily have answers, but we'll start to get some insight at least throughout today. Stella, thank you.
Okay, so hopefully we'll be in here still, maybe, or just yeah. Anyway, we'll get some news as to what happens within the court systems. Maybe, I don't know if they show or they allow for it. I don't know, but it's a crazy story, you guys. It really is, all the way around. It's just very sad, very, very sad. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, okay. Going right back to what we were talking about. Good point.
Yep.
Very good point. Very, very good point. Rolling public school officials end school day early due to threat. This looks like a video that'll play too. Let's see here.
I had 8 UTIs in 1 year. This inspired me to launch Eucora.
I'm so grateful. Before I started taking Eucora, I was struggling with my urinary health.
Everything changed.
I am myself again.
At Eucora, we've helped over 500,000 people just like you. We make UTI relief products. We also make proactive urinary tract health products. Take control of your urinary health.
I feel like I have my life back.
It's a game changer. I'm a customer for life.
I can't skip it, folks. Sorry.
Eucora.com.
I have never seen so many people with smiles on their faces talking about UTIs in my life.
Okay, so I'm going to read this anyway because that didn't help a whole lot. So it says, this is out of Roland, Oklahoma. Parents of Roland Public Schools are told not to take their children to school until a threat can be cleared, according to a post made at 7:30 a.m. by Roland Public School officials. Thursday, October 17th, Roland Public Schools had reported a separate threat that was made through a suicide hotline on October 22nd, officials said. And they were looking into a bomb threat. And see, that's a little bit of a different situation there. Thank you, Phil. Due to another bomb threat, please do not drop your children off at school until the police can clear the buildings. Please be patient as we are trying to determine the level of threat in order to keep all students and faculty safe. Thank you, a post said. Officials are telling parents of the school bus riders to pick them up at the Roland Police Department or Ranger Dome. You may pick your child up there, but be sure to sign them out. If your child had already been dropped off at school, you may pick them up from the front of Ranger Dome, the post says. This is an ongoing story with KNWA. Okay. Wow. So that's crazy to me. It's just too much every day. I still can't get past the fact that the mass shooting situation, the school shootings, we used to see one a year, if that. Okay. This has turned into like a weekly thing, guys, and it's getting ridiculous, in my opinion. Something needs to be able to be done about this so that it stops somehow. Bill says my son dealt with bullying 2 years in a row. Only brief incidents, but he didn't want to go back either. 100%. Caden was dealt with the same things. Welcome, Gary. Good to see you today. Captain Jenks, good to see you as well. They should never go through this, ever. Okay? When we were in school, if you didn't have, the Nike tennis shoes or the expensive stuff, you were made fun of. And it puts pressure on your parents. What if your parents don't have that kind of money and they can't afford that? And you have to wear shoes that are bought at Walmart. You get beat up. You're made fun of. You're ridiculed. That's not right, folks. I'm sorry. And that's one of the things that our school looked into uniforms for a little while. And that way everybody was wearing the same thing. You know what I mean? And they found a way to make that ignorant too because of the types of clothing. Because they sold the uniform clothing or clothing at Dollar General as well as Kmart, Walmart, and other stores. Well, they would break it down and say, well, you got yours from Dollar General. Mine came from the mall. That kind of shit. Grow up. I mean, it's so ignorant. And I think it goes back to, again, people not teaching their kids to not do that kind of shit. Because my kids were taught that. They didn't act that way. They still don't. Never, ever have my kids been judgmental of anybody.
And I've never understood that shit. To me, I mean, there's people out there that can't even afford clothes. So to me, clothes are clothes. I mean, even today, I'll buy the majority of my clothes at the damn thrift store because if I want to wear a name brand, I'm certainly not going to go out there and pay tag price for it.
Thank you. There's nothing wrong with it. You can get just the same type of clothes at the thrift store with tags still left on them that are just fine, guys. If you find the good deals, I'm the same way. I don't give a shit what you think about what I'm wearing. I do have some clothes that are bought for me that are gifts that are expensive. I'm not going to go spend that money on it because I can't. There's no way. Sorry. So, moving forward, again, we have sadly, another missing person. Looks like Miss Sergeant Sarah E. Roque out of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Fort Leonard Wood Military Police of Missouri are seeking the public's assistance in locating Sergeant Sarah Roque, a soldier with the 5th Engineer Battalion. She was last known to be in the Fort Leonard Wood area, and her family chain of command have not been able to reach her. Sergeant Roque is a Hispanic female, 5 foot 2 inches tall, weighing 145 pounds, with black hair, brown eyes. If you have any information on her whereabouts, please contact law enforcement at 573-596 6141. That's another good look at her face. Sarah E. Roque is the name. I think I'm pronouncing it correct. Is this near you, Doodle?
Yeah, it's a couple hours away.
Gotcha. Okay. And does it have any info as to when she was last seen or any
underneath
Dago,
that.
I did a short on her this morning. If you want to put that up.
Got you. What did you say, Doodle?
I was just going to say I sent her information next in Discord where that is. It's the next one.
Oh, okay. I got you. I can check that or since Arctic did a short on it, we can check that too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doodle, very much. Yeah, missing soldiers. See, this is a different situation. I wonder. I hope that it's not an AWOL situation.
Right.
But,
I don't know. They have that a lot at Fort Leonard Wood, so I'm not positive, but I hope not. She's going to be in serious trouble if that's the case.
Yeah, right.
But I also want her to be safe, so I don't know.
100%. Either way, she's still missing, so that's important that we get this out. Give me 1 second here. Oh, there she is. 1 second, guys. You guys know I've been doing a couple of Arctic's shorts every show now, so this is going to count for one of them for sure. Here we go.
What is going on, guys? This is Arctic Fox. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the missing persons case of 23-year-old Sergeant Sarah Roque, who is missing out of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Sarah is 5 foot 2 inches tall and weighs 145 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. The Fort Leonard. What is going on, guys? This is Arctic Fox. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the missing persons case of 23-year-old Sergeant Sarah Roque, who is missing out of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Sarah is 5 foot 2 inches tall and weighs 145 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. The Fort Leonard Wood Military Police have issued a BOLO and are requesting the public's help in locating the missing woman. Sergeant Roque's last location was within Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri on the 21st of October, 2024. Neither Sarah's chain of command nor her family have been able to contact her. Anyone that has information regarding Sarah or her whereabouts is asked to contact the Fort Leonard Wood Military Police at 573-596-6141. Let's get Sarah's face out there on social media, guys, and help bring her home safe.
There it is, guys. Thank you, Arctic, for that. And like I said, I've been doing 2 or 3 of these shorts of articles every day on the morning show just to get extra coverage on some of these out. So we're going to cover a couple more and move on to the next sticks. Welcome back, Cass. Good to see you, dear.
What is going on, guys? This is Arctic Fox. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the missing persons case of 21-year-old Chloe Alloway, who is missing out of Kyle, Texas. Chloe has brown eyes and was last known to be wearing a black wig. The Kyle police are asking for the public's help in locating the missing woman and her 11-month-old son, Osiris. Chloe has a diminished mental capacity, and her family is concerned for Osiris's health and well-being. Chloe and Osiris left their Inks Lane residence in Kyle, Texas on foot at around 11 a.m. on the 21st of October, 2024. Chloe was last seen wearing a light-colored shirt with dark shorts and pink Crocs. Osiris was wearing a gray shirt and gray shorts and was being pushed in a black stroller. Chloe wears a shoulder-length black wig. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Kyle police at 512-268-3232.
Again, thank you, Arctic, for that. Great coverage on that. Great info. And these ones bother me when you see the mother and the child go missing together, especially if there's any kind of medical problems. That's not good. So we got to do something here. Welcome, Crystal Williams. Good to have you here today. Let's see here.
What is going on, guys? This is Arctic Fox. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the missing persons case of 53-year-old Delaney Askin, who is missing out of Cortez, Colorado. Delaney is 5'7" tall and weighs 180 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. He does have an tribal affiliation with the Navajo tribe. Delaney was last seen during the first week of September 2024 at the Ute Mountain Casino in Colorado. Delaney was last seen wearing blue jeans, a blue shirt, and prescription glasses. His family and friends are very concerned for his safety and his well-being. Anyone that has information on Delaney or his whereabouts is asked to contact the Cortez Police Department at 970-565-8441. What?
All right, buddy. Thank you again for all 3 of those. I appreciate it. Just keep that stuff in mind, folks. If you see or hear anything on any of these, again, Delaney is another one that we don't get these out enough. It's an indigenous person alert, and that's important, guys, because they don't get the attention even remotely close to what they should. So I'm glad that one was in there as well. But these other ones, again, are just as important too. Just keep your eyes and ears open. If you have any knowledge whatsoever, contact 911 and do the right thing, folks. Again, we need to stop minding our own business and do the right thing, as I've been saying. And I appreciate it, Arctic, for everything you do with these. I decided the other day that I think it'd be a good idea, since you put so many out during the morning show, to put a couple, 2, 3 of these out at a time and get extra play on them. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, the whole point is to get the faces out there. So the more people that share them out, even in their shows or whatever, the better the chances are someone's going to see them. And, someone goes missing from Colorado, that doesn't mean that they're still in Colorado. They could be across the country in Arkansas by now. So
100%. So, guys, please, too, if you have not yet, please go check out. I do have another one here, too, as well.
We still need to get the table together where we all do like a marathon of.
Yeah,
that would be great.
That would be a good idea. I am going to play this other one because this is a different type of situation, folks. But it's still very important. Excuse me. So this here is Jalik L. Rainwalker. Okay, November 1st, 2007, Greenwich, New York. Let me see if I can blow it up just a little bit bigger for you guys. There we go. Date of birth was August 2nd of 95. Green eyes, 105 pounds at the time of his disappearance, and he's biracial. Light brown curly with some blonde highlights in his hair, 5'6" at the time of disappearance, and he's a male. It says Rainwalker has a slight speech impediment and pronounces the letter F like a W. was last seen November. I can't read that very well. Hold on here. I think it's November 1st of
Well, now
2000.
the reason I sent that to you, Dago, and I sent you the text above it is they have found some remains that may possibly be his
Yeah,
remains.
that's what I was going to go into next. But yeah, okay. I just wanted to read the whole thing if nobody could read it. But that was the next part of this. So yeah. This is out of Greenwich, New York, by the way, you guys. So there's that part of it. But it says skeletal remains have been discovered near Burton Pond in Troy, New York, in an area previously searched for the missing boy with connections to Vermont. According to the Albany Times-Union, detectives uncovered bones belonging to a non-adult near the last known location of 12-year-old Jalik Rainwalker, who went missing in 2007. Jalik's adoptive father, Stephen Burdell Kerr, was identified as a person of interest in the case and later relocated to Vermont. Authorities say more testing is required to determine the age and identity of the remains. So this child, I think I took it down and I didn't mean to. I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry, you guys. So that would be amazing if they were to be able to get to find that. Unfortunately, he would mean he's not still alive, but still, there would be some form of closure on what happened with this child, because it's 2007, guys. It's a long time ago.
Well, that one is very, very sad case all the way around. I've covered it previously on my channel. There's no doubt in my mind that this child was murdered by his own family. So,
And any, like, as to why? Was there anything that leads up to that, or is it just the ignorance of the family?
off my head, I can't remember all the exact details, but yeah, I mean, he was horribly abused. So,
unbelievable. See, you adopt these children, and then they're still being, and we've been
Right.
talking about this like crazy.
If you adopt and you don't want the child, don't adopt the child. It's easy. Don't do it.
There's no point in it.
No.
That's not what they're being adopted because they need love and care. Not, and that's again goes back to the conversations we've had about people adopting children to get a check, period,
Yep.
or fostering children just to get a check. It's enough. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So it needs to stop. Absolutely needs to stop. Doodle, do you want me to put this link up that you dropped down here below this? The submitted tip, report a crime.
I mean, you can. Yeah, I kind of copy and pasted from the Missing People in America's Foundation.
Oh,
where that
okay.
came from.
I understand. I didn't know if there was a specific reason, but I got you. I get it. And it's basically here. Let me show it real fast, guys. It's a couple different links that will help in a lot of different situations, and more resources that are definitely out here. Okay, they just need to be used. So, submit a tip, report a crime. You can click here on this link here for the Army CID, and it helps with missing military personnel, so on and so forth. And all of these things here, guys, if you want, you can go to this and click on these links, and it'll take you directly to these links or these hotlines, so on and so forth. The National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 is a very important one as well. You can click on this and go to a counselor right away. You can text 55247 within the United States or call 1-202-470-5546 outside the United States for assistance. Now, we also have, which does happen to me, not the romance side of it, but the impersonation, fraud, and romance scams happen to everybody nowadays, folks. And you can go through this link here, Internet Crime Complaint Center or the Federal Trade Commission, and report any one of these things that happens to people. Report spam text messages, unwanted email, common scams, report Twitter account impersonation, European citizen, cybercrimes, identity theft, voter fraud, 60 and over. Any one of these things can definitely happen. You click on these links here for this. And that is through the Department of the Army Criminal Investigation Division. Okay. So you would just go to, I think it's Department of Army Criminal Investigation Division.gov is the link for that. Okay. General crimes can be reported as well through these links here, so on and so forth. And this right here, it goes directly through the Department of Justice, and you can submit tips there. It is linked with NECMEC as well. So it's definitely a very good resource. You can contact them in any one of these forms right here, or you can just send a text message if you would like. But it's, again, Department of the Army Criminal Investigation Division, folks. So thank you for
Yeah,
that, dude.
those love scams are bad. I mean, just turn on Dr. Phil. The amount of 80-year-old women that I've seen dating Justin Timberlake or Tom Cruise, and the amount of 80-year-old men that are dating Taylor Swift, it's just.
And they take them for every dime they have, every
Mhm.
dime, until they're broke, and then they move on to the next one. It's absolutely disgusting. It makes me sick. So thank you again, Doodle, for that. And don't be ashamed if that happens to you, folks. It's not your fault. I'm telling you right now, it is not your fault. There's a lot of people that don't like to report these crimes when they happen because they feel like it's their fault. That's not at all what it is. So please don't ever feel like that. Let me see. Making show I'm getting everything. Here's something to check out, guys. Quite interesting if you ask me. Thank you, Cassie, for dropping this morning. Check this out, folks. Moving forward. Thank you again, Miss Zelda. I hope you feel better, dear.
Everything we've developed for our cars, the batteries, power electronics, the advanced motors, gearboxes, the software, the AI inference computer, it all actually applies to a humanoid robot. It's the same techniques. It's just a robot with arms and legs instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress with Optimus. And as you can see, we started with someone in a robot suit, sort of down, and then we've progressed dramatically year after year. So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that anyone could own. So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. And I think at scale, this would cost something like, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000.
Nope. There is no way in hell I'm gonna have a robot living in my house with me and kill me in my sleep. Sorry, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Sorry, I'm not
comfortable. It depends.
Well,
I mean, I would have a robot if it would clean my house, maybe do some laundry.
Sure.
Well, we saw how much worse Twitter got once a humanoid robot named it X and changed everything.
Of course. I'm just not. Listen, folks. I am one of them people that is not comfortable with AI. First off, okay, I'm not comfortable with this thing being in my house. I get the instant feeling of waking up at 3 a.m. with this thing standing over top of me with its hands around my neck, trying to eliminate me. And it also takes me back to, gotta love TV and movies. What the hell was the movie? Terminator 2. That's what, I know it's
a new one. There's that new one that's out. The AI girl, the robot AI. That was creepy. I was like, nope.
Right. And AI robot. What happened in that one movie that I told everybody do not watch because it scared the shit out of me. Where I can't think of the name of the movie right now, but I should have never watched it. Basically, the end of the world per se, and AI took over per se. All of the Teslas were driving by themselves. Okay, no.
The first movie like that really scared me was a movie about a car, Christine, and that car had a mind of its own.
And guess what, folks? That was a haunted car. This shit's real now. It's real now, okay? That's what gets me now. And I'm like, no. Granted, what Doodle said would be amazing if you could have somebody that could come in or something that could come in that won't get tired, that will cook and clean and do your laundry. Hell yeah. Of course. We could all just sit back and chill until that thing gets these are learning robots. They learn as they go, okay? They get smarter by the day, so on and so forth. What are they going to do when they realize that they can take control of the situation? That's my problem with this. And boom. So no, I'm not comfortable with this situation at all. I'm just saying I may sound a bit conspiracy theory like on this. I don't care. I'm not comfortable with it. So, and not to mention, who the hell could afford something like this? Obviously, this has got to cost you. I don't know how much, but we'll see. It's interesting, no lie, but no. I'm a little crazy with this. Can't do it. Sorry. My in-laws rode in a self-driving Tesla in Vegas. They said it almost took. Yeah. See, I don't trust that either. No. Just like what is it? Amazon has self-driving cars that do deliveries now. I don't trust that. Domino's has, I think they're Android vehicles or something they called it that will deliver pizzas to you. No, that's not natural to me. I'm sorry.
I mean, even my little cheap ass Kia that I bought has lane assist and adaptive cruise control. So technically speaking, I can set the cruise and let the car pretty much drive itself.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that. I don't even trust anyone else's driving, much less my car driving itself.
Very true. McDonald's has that mocha. Japan has the fully automated McDonald's now. That there are no people, none. Somebody runs it from a computer somewhere, and it is completely automated. That's it's taken the world over per se. We're not gonna be needed anymore. Then what? You see what I'm saying? I don't like that at all. They're taking jobs away from people. When you can run it with two people, when you can run something with two people that you would run with 35 people, something's not right with that. That's again eliminating jobs. So I'm just not comfortable. Others may be, and I respect you for that, but I just can't. Yeah, right. When there's a screw in your Big Mac, that's a problem. Sorry. It's just weird to me. So I don't know.
Less than a car is my prediction long term. Now, it'll take us a minute to get to the long term, but fundamentally at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks, whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind.
For $30,000, that bitch better look like Justin Bieber and pleasure me any way I wish.
What is it? Sorry, my mouse keeps getting stuck. Yes. Yeah, I'm okay. Now we do know, guys, they've had these other robots. I think it's Japan. Sex robots. Nope. Not again. Sorry. I definitely wouldn't trust that at all. So just saying, none of this stuff is good for me at all. Oh, not at all. Let me see something here. Let's see here. Give me 1 sec. So the other day we were talking about everybody's favorite person, Miss Gypsy Rose. Arctic really loves her. Yes,
yeah.
I just thought this story, since we were talking about her the other day, was kind of interesting to me. So let's check it out. I can't even stand looking at her, you guys. They're just everything about her makes me nuts. Sorry. Now, what did I say? And I know quite a few people have thought and said that they believe that she very possibly was the one that actually physically did this. Okay. I have always thought that, and if that she didn't do it by herself, that she was hand in hand with him doing it. And I think a few other people have said the same thing. So That to me would be quite interesting if it were to come out and she ended up going back to prison. Just saying.
So, since our last video of the future Mrs.
You know, one thing I never understood, and I'm going to sound like an asshole for saying this, truly, but Gypsy's dad is a fairly decent looking guy. I don't understand how him and Gypsy's mom ended up together. It's a little weird to me. You know what I mean?
Well,
I know.
I mean, Gypsy's mom wasn't always the size of a house either. She used to be a lot thinner. She used to be about Gypsy's size.
Well, the weight thing, it's just, I never thought that she was like visually attractive. That's me. I know I sound like an asshole. It's just the two didn't look like a real couple ever. And I know she was smaller, right? I think I saw a picture of her one time when she was younger. So maybe I didn't see it right or whatever. I don't know. Those two never fit together to me. Maybe I was saying it the way I wasn't thinking it, but still, it's just a weird situation. But I just wanted to say that because I've been thinking that for a while.
to him to reconnect in February.
And I just gotta say, me personally think she looks so weird as a blonde. Not to mention, she already looked weird to me, but as a blonde, she looks even stranger to me. I'm sorry. It doesn't fit her at all. And that's, again, just my opinion. Nobody has to agree. This is our drama for the day, so I'm going to be dramatic with it. Just saying. I don't know. Doodle, what do you think about her?
You know how I feel about her. I think that she should still be in prison. And I also think that anyone that can talk someone with special needs into doing something illegal, you both should do the time.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you heard
now I honestly feel like Go to John does deserve to have his case re-examined because that boy was used. He never would have done what he did had it not been for Gypsy, and he tried to talk her out of it several times.
Yes, he did. And now I hate to say this, I'm kind of excited to hear that there very well may be proof that she stood there with a knife in her hand and did it, all of it, if not helped him with it. Imagine that, folks, if the possibility is that he didn't do any of it and she did it all and put it on him and he said he'd take the blame for it. Can you imagine that happening?
Well, now, he admitted that he did stab her 4 times, but a lot of those stab wounds were not from Go to John's dominant hand, and I firmly believe that Gypsy did do a lot of those stab wounds herself.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I'm telling you, she did this, guys. I've been saying this since she went in. After I watched and read the whole story, there's no way in hell in my mind that she did not do this. He may have helped, but I think she was taking out her anger, and she did it. We know she manipulated him 100%, but I think she did it. Most of the, like Arctic just said, I think she was the one that was in there stabbing this woman. Okay, truly. She wrote what she wrote on the Facebook post. Go to John didn't do that. She did it, and that was dark. Okay,
exactly. Gypsy is more nuts than a fucking can of planters.
100%. All the varieties too. Okay, yeah, rage stabbings. Exactly, Stormy. All of that. This is a dark person here, folks, and you can see it. Her eyes alone, they're not just brown eyes. They're deep, dark, and evil looking to me, and they always have been. There is something about this girl that just no. Oh yeah, I saw that too. Zelda. Harvey Weinstein diagnosed with bone marrow cancer. Karma's real, folks. I'm telling you it is. But yes. But yeah, I truly do think that this creature was involved, highly involved in the stabbing of her mother. Not just manipulating him to do it, but physically involved in doing it as well. She's so stupid too. It drives me nuts how stupid she is. I'm sorry. Just so stupid. I can't. I don't know. She's, let me put it this way. She's very, how do you say that when somebody is smart but stupid at the same time? There's a phrase for it. I can't think of it. She's very connivingly, manipulatively smart, but stupid in other ways, if that makes any sense. At least to me. That's the only way I can think on how to put it. I can't stand it. Her voice, her face, anything. She drives me nuts. Naive? You know what? I don't even want to say that, Cap, because she's too manipulative to be naive, if that makes any sense to anybody. in my opinion, at least. I don't know. I don't know how to put what I'm trying to say, but it'll come. And folks, does that make you wonder why? Why does Gypsy Rose Blanchard want a baby so bad? Hey, Molly. Good to see you here. I've wondered that because I've seen these clips before of them stating this, but she denies it. I'm telling you, there's a reason behind it, and it's just dark to me. I'm sorry. And she definitely a narcissist, Zelda. No, she doesn't care about anybody but herself. That's true. And I don't think ever has, to be honest with you. Regardless of what her mother did. I think her mother did a certain amount of things to her. I think Gypsy took the rest of it, her direction on her own. So the production company probably told her that Ken looked better with her as a couple for a TV show. And that's probably one of the reasons why she did it, to be honest with you guys. I've thought about that as well. Because the other dude.
Yeah. And they're also talking that, in these real TV,
yeah,
and I've got quotes there, that if she got pregnant, it might help her get an extra season of her Lifetime series. So if she is actually pregnant, that's probably why.
Agreed. I'm telling you, like, it's all about the other dude. Seems like, I mean, he's a little bit bigger, a little frumpy looking, okay? And the production team probably said he probably don't look great on a TV screen as compared to this other skinnier guy that's a little bit better looking per se, I guess. And she probably jumped all over it because that's going to keep her money flow going. Do you see what I'm saying? And Dardick's right about the whole pregnancy thing. I'm telling you, these things are probably going to come out eventually, guys. And don't say I didn't tell you or that Arctic didn't tell you, because I'm telling you, everything this woman does is for her own benefit. And it's all in a manipulative state, folks. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Have you all noticed that she tries using a Cajun accent when she's around her dad and them? Every other, yeah, it's funny. She's fake. She's the epitome of what I can't stand. Doodle can't stand people like that either. We've had this conversation time and time again. Any person that emits any kind of fakeness is just no. I don't have time for you. I'm sorry. And Cassie, money. Facts. And now she thinks she's probably one of the Kardashian people now. You know how that goes. Hey, Barbara. Welcome. Good to see you, dear. Hope you're having a great day. Wonderful to have you here. I can't give this woman my time of day. I would not. I'm not even going to say it. What is it? How do you put that, Doodle? That phrase you use about pissing on somebody?
You what?
There's a phrase you've used before about pissing on somebody when they're on fire or something like that.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, something else you said, but yeah, that was it basically. That's
well, Judge Judy said it best, and she would have said this exactly to Gypsy Rose. Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think just about everything that this woman says is a lie, and if it's not a lie, it will turn into one at some point for sure. So,
and he's ever been with to knock her up.
100% every time. Why does she want a baby so bad, you guys? There's a reason behind it. I'm telling you. One, other than the basic reasons. One, the first and foremost is it's going to bring all that attention to her while she's pregnant. Okay. Now, here's what I worry about with this person. When that baby's born. Yes, Barbara, I should be. And I apologize for yesterday. My son had ended up having a rash that I was dealing with, and I didn't have time to do it. So my apologies, but I will be here later too. So, number one, the attention she's going to receive from being pregnant. Okay. Number two, think about this for a minute. Once that baby is born, she's no longer pregnant. All that attention is going to go to that baby. And I don't think she's going to fare well with that. I really just don't. And that's what I'm nervous about. I feel like it's going to cause her to have a resentment towards that baby, which is why she should never be pregnant. And I just... I think the main reason that she's going to be pregnant or wanted to be pregnant or have a baby was for the attention, period. When she realizes that the baby's going to be the number one person to get the attention, that she's not going to have all her little free time left to do this or do that or anything else, it's going to turn into a big issue. It's going to be bad. It's truly going to be bad. Jesus, Arctic. Good point. Good point. So that's again just my opinion, but I truly feel that that's what this is. And Arctic is correct. You're safer being a team pop star at Diddy's party than being with Gypsy, 100%. Well, that's what I'm saying, Molly. She's not thinking it in the right mind, which is why I say she's stupid as well as being manipulatively smart. And doesn't realize that once she has the baby, what that's going to be like. All that attention will go to that baby, including her own attention if she does it right. And probably the father and the rest of the world, since she'll probably have that baby on TV as well. So that's my opinion, but I truly do see that happening. So
This isn't even the first time Gypsy's.
I thought she had her nose done. It looks the same there to me. Maybe I'm just seeing
I
it
don't
wrong.
know if maybe that was before. I'm not sure.
It said this was recent. I don't know. Maybe not. Does her nose look different since she had it done? Did anybody see her afterwards? I don't know. I don't think the nose helps her, fixed or not fixed, either way. But
I think we just don't like her.
I don't at all. Not at all. Not even a tinge. I don't feel nothing bad for her. Nothing. But she got pregnant after the nose job. Well, I can imagine why. But I'm just saying. Here comes the YouTube family vlogs channel starring Ken, Gypsy, and Baby Huey. 100% Arctic. 100%. That is too funny to me. Hell, Ryan will probably be in it somehow too. I'm telling you, it's probably Ryan's baby.
Really worth it? For better or for worse, though, I don't think Gypsy is going anywhere as long as there's people willing to watch her. So, as her lies continue to unravel, we'll be watching closely and reporting back because where there's scandal, there's Scandy.
There it is. There's their drama piece for the day. And I hope to God that they find it out. And I hope she goes back to prison, you guys. I really, really do. I'm with Doodle on this. I don't think she should have ever gotten out of prison. Just saying. I think she deserves just as much as Goda John does, because I think she probably stabbed her mother more than he did. And we can't forget about Diddy Rose here, guys. Don't forget about Diddy Rose. Thank you, Arctic. Diddy Rose Blanchard. Can you see the resemblance? Yes, Mark and Betty, I'll be on. So don't forget about this one here. Interesting. I love it. Too funny. So, see here. All right. Hold on a minute here. Trying to find. Oh, yeah. This was the other story I wanted to show you guys too. I thought this was pretty wild, you guys. This is a press conference about another story that happened. Where are we at now? 3 hours. Okay. I did, Molly. I saw it. We talked about that first thing this morning, Molly, about the 5 people killed. I definitely saw that. And I'm still hoping to get more info on that before the end of the day as well. I sent you a message in Discord, Molly, if you didn't see it. All right. So this is Gallatin County Law Office has discussed bear attack turned homicide investigation. How about that?
All right. Hello. Thank you all for attending. My name is Dan Springer. I'm the Gallatin County Sheriff. With me today, I have our investigations captain, Nate Cameraman. He heads our investigative division, which is made and supervises some of the finest, most hardworking detectives that I know. And what happened here is, and also today is Jillian Price. Jillian is the sister of our victim, Dustin Jersom. On October 12th, the sheriff's office received a report of a male found deceased in his wall tent approximately 2.5 miles up Moose Creek. The male has been identified as 35-year-old Dustin Jersom of the Belgrade-Bozeman area. This is a homicide, and we are working all hours of the day and night to find his killer. Jillian described Dustin as a caring, hardworking, and loving brother. He was brutally killed at his campsite, and we need your help. I'm going to.
When this was first released, it was a small story. It was talked about a man being attacked by a bear and killed. You heard him just say this is now a homicide.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't know that. I remember hearing the initial story, but I didn't know
right.
it was like this. Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's got to make you wonder, what the hell did whoever killed him do to make it seem to be a bear attack, you know? Thank you, Zelda, again, hon. So interesting. That's why I thought we would enjoy this piece of information.
Turn this over to Captain Cameron so he can describe to you what it is that we need from you. Captain Cameron.
Good afternoon. We put together several facts for you to hopefully help the community narrow down exactly what we're looking for, as well as jostle any memories out there of anyone that may be up there, and encourage people to come forward with information. Dustin was last seen in the afternoon hours of Thursday, October 10, 2024. He was leaving to go camping up Moose Creek in his black 2013 Ford F-250 with a black topper and an aluminum silver ladder rack. He was well prepared for a weekend of camping and had plans to meet with a friend on Friday afternoon, but he never made that meeting. He was located deceased in his tent shortly after 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. Autopsy has shown that he sustained multiple chop wounds, quote, which led to his death. We're following up on leads, but we have no arrest at this time.
That's not something that we hear very often, is chop wounds. Chop. I've never heard that stated in a murder investigation that I've covered. Stab wounds, slash wounds, rip, tear. Never heard chop before, which is weird to me. So they charged the bear. No, they didn't charge the bear cap. What? Get the hell out of here. Anyway, I'm just curious, even with chop wounds, how would you think a bear did that? I don't get it. But just saying. Sorry to cut it off, but I wanted to make notice of that right away. They found multiple chop wounds. That's a whole new story for me. A whole new level of what could have happened is what I'm picturing now. So
We're asking the community members to help us in this way. What we need from you is anyone who is present in the area between the evening hours of Thursday, October 10, and the early morning hours of Saturday, October 12, to reach out to us. That's up Moose Creek. Anyone with trail or game cameras in the Moose Creek area, please reach forward, even if the footage seems irrelevant. Anyone with in-car cameras traveling in the Moose Creek area during this time frame, please reach out to us. Anyone who saw the victim's truck, as a picture will be provided both on our Facebook site as well as I believe it's been provided to media. Anyone that's seen that truck during the time frame mentioned, please come forward to us. And anyone who saw something out of place, out of the ordinary in the areas surrounding Moose Creek, think of the whole canyon. If you saw something weird in the canyon area or in town with this truck, please reach out to us. That time frame again is between the evening hours of Thursday, October 10, and early morning hours of Saturday, October 12. Thank you for everyone who has already reached out with information. We've been given multiple leads, and we are working to close those leads and find what direction they take us. My folks are working around the clock. And again, as the sheriff said, we need your help on this. Anything you can bring to us would be greatly appreciated and may make a huge difference on what we find here. Thank you.
So we want you to better understand who Dustin was. And so to do that, Julian Price, his sister, would like to say a few things.
This weekend, we lost our brother, our son, our uncle, our best friends, and our dad in the most unimaginable way. Dustin was a great kid. He was born here in Bozeman, and he worked all over the valley. He could have framed your house. He could have poured your foundation. He could have installed your countertops. He was a hardworking, skilled tradesman. He was a loving, helpful, and adorning father who in no way deserved this. I ask our community to please help us find out who did this. There is someone in our valley that is capable of truly heinous things. Please, if you are in Moose Creek at any time from Thursday to Saturday, please call and talk, even if you think you didn't see anything.
So we do not have anyone in custody at this time. People have asked me if there's a threat to this community, and the answer is we don't know. We don't have enough information to know at this time, but we do know that someone was out there who killed someone in a very heinous way. So if you're out in the woods, I need you to be paying attention. You need to remain vigilant. If you see anything suspicious, please just call us. We will take a look. No information is too small. If there's something, please call us. And at this time, we will take some questions. I will take some questions.
Do you have any idea what the weapon could have been?
We don't have an exact idea what the weapon is, but we do know that it was something hard enough to cause significant damage to the skull, as well as some fleshy areas of the body.
Is it known as when this might have happened?
So we had contact with him Thursday afternoon. Not we, but the family. We know that he was in contact with people on Thursday afternoon. He drove up into the cane. As most of you know, there's limited service up there to no service. And so his time frame of missing was from that Thursday afternoon into Saturday morning about 10 a.m. when he was found deceased. So what time exactly he was killed, we don't have that yet.
I was wondering if you could describe the area, kind of the campsites, what's around there.
Yeah, so it's not an official campsite. It's kind of your standard Forest Service area where people make their own campsites, but then it becomes kind of an established one. He had a wall tent, probably 8 by 10, 10 by 10, somewhere in that neighborhood. It was very well kept. He had lots of equipment up there with him. He had been planning to kind of spend a weekend with a friend up there and had set it all up prior to them getting there. And so there's a lot of hunters up in that area. There are some outfitters. There are people that are just living up there or camping. So there is a lot of activity, even though it's fairly remote.
Is there any information on who found him?
Information of who found him. So the friend that he was going to pick up was missing. Obviously, he did not show up. So they went looking for him, and the friend's the one who found him.
Are there any elements of this case that may make it harder or easier to solve than other homicides?
Yeah, so the question is, are there elements of this case that makes it harder to solve? I'm repeating the questions because the microphone right here doesn't pick up your questions. So yes, honestly, given the location where there is limited service, cell phones and those kind of things, which are typically a lot of help for us, may not have the same answer. So a very remote area is difficult, as well as time. There was a number of maybe hours to days from the time he might have been killed to the time that it was reported. So anytime we have a lag, it can make a case more difficult.
People looking to reach out with information, how should they go about that?
Yeah, thank you. So the question is, where do you go to if you have information? If it's during the business hours, please call 406-582-2121. You can also leave a message there if it's not immediate. If it's something that needs immediate attention, please call 406-582-2100, option number 1, and that'll get you to dispatch, who will then get you to a deputy, and you can tell them that what this is about, and they'll get the information if that's something that needs attention right away.
Non-business hours?
That would be kind of the non-business hours, if you know, or you can leave a message at the one for business hours. Thank you.
What would you say to someone that might think that their information isn't very helpful? They're still thinking about it.
Yeah, so think of this as a large jigsaw puzzle, okay? And it's going to take multiple. So what's the question is, what do I tell somebody if they don't think the information they have is a worthwhile or not big enough? The answer to that is it's like a big jigsaw puzzle when you're working on these cases. We will get little pieces here and there, and eventually that creates a big, large picture that makes some sense. So if you have a little piece of that puzzle, anyone that's ever done a jigsaw puzzle, if you can't find that one little piece, someone knows where it is, someone has some information. If you think it's important, even if you don't think it's important, let us know. And let us deem if it's important or not. But it might be that little piece that kind of puts the big picture together for us. Okay, thank you all for being here. I'm sorry, was there another one? Okay, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Jillian. And, you know, the Sheriff's Office is dedicated to finding out what's going on here. Please reach out to us if you have anything. So thank you for your time.
Pretty wild, I would say. So they first saw this case when he was first found and believed that he was attacked and killed by a bear.
So his friend did it. His friend found him and thought a bear had attacked him, and then they figured out it wasn't a bear.
Yeah, and I gotta wonder how well they have looked into the friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like, what made him? I know it had to be gruesome to think it was a bear, but why would you automatically assume a bear? The blood, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe because he was ripped into pieces. Obviously, they said that they found multiple chop wounds, and I went, "That's new." So meaning that he was tore apart. So in fact, I would imagine that would probably be why. I've only seen maybe what hatchet, axe, something like that. They said it was enough to be able to go through and cause like blunt damage to the skull. So either side of an axe can do that. You know what I mean?
That's terrible. My God.
It's pretty wild to me for sure. I don't even know what to say. Like, truly, that's crazy to me. Things are getting weird out here in the world, folks. Just wild, very wild. What do you think on this, Arctic?
I mean, it's crazy to think that he, you know, how do we go from them thinking he was attacked to a bear to it being a homicide investigation? It's just wild to me.
It is.
I did send you an update on the missing veteran. Unfortunately, it's a sad one.
Oh no. Oh shit. Okay.
Dang, I was really hoping she just maybe ran off.
Me too. Okay. So give me a second here. Let me see something, folks. So the update on Sarah, this is the one we put out this morning, the soldier that went missing. It says the U.S. Army Fort Leonard Food has confirmed that Sergeant Sarah Roque has been found deceased. The circumstances surrounding her death are currently under investigation by the Department of the Army Criminal Investigation Division. Prayers for her family and friends. Damn. 23 years old. That's sucks. Did they say anything about whether or not it looked like it was self-inflicted or if it was something that, well, if it's under investigation, I'm sure they know nothing yet. But Thank you, Artie.
Yeah, I haven't been able to see any more information other than what was in that post. So.
Gotcha. Well, at least we have an answer, and it's not a good one, but they all can't be. At least we now know where she is. I was truly with Doodle thinking maybe she went AWOL or something. Who knows? Damn. That is crazy. Very sad. Let me see here if there was anything besides that. Hold on a minute. Okay, that was that was sent to me too. Are you guys familiar with the actress Anne Heche? Heche,
Yeah.
however you say it. There was I'm sorry, Doodle.
I don't guess I am. What did she play in? I don't really know my names.
She was
in that.
Ellen's ex-wife.
No, yeah, that's who Ellen DeGeneres was married to.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah.
And then she was in that movie with was it Harrison Ford where they were flying? Oh shit.
Yeah, I know who she is now.
Right, and she also played Psycho too. Somebody sent me a little mini kind of a docu thing on her about what possibly happened to her, or what is believed happened to her with the last scenario before her death and during what caused her death, blah blah blah. So I thought maybe you guys would be interested to hear that. And then that'll be it for today, and then we'll do some funny stuff and get the hell out of here. So yeah, there was the whole car accident thing and everything, right? It's pretty wild, I'll say that much. But here's this. One moment, guys. Just in case.
Firestorm has settled. We finally know what really happened during Anne Heche's last moments. Anne Heche was born of May 1969 to Nancy and Donald Joe Heche in small-town Ohio. To everyone else, the Heche family.
Yeah, which I didn't realize till about 3 months ago. She was from pretty close to where I'm from, too. Which a lot of people are being found out that they're from this boring-ass town. This tells why everybody leaves here, guys. It's horrible. But yeah, anyway.
They looked like a nice fundamentalist Christian family. But there was something much darker lurking behind their front door. For Anne Heche, the monster in her closet was all too real. Heche's childhood was just as scandalous as her headline-grabbing Hollywood career. Her father, Donald Joe, never seemed to have a steady job and was full of failed get-rich-quick schemes that forced the family to move often. But wherever they went, Heche noticed that her father's demons followed them. They would stalk her for the rest of her life. Heche's life of fame and fortune was a long way off. At the height of her success, she recalled a time when we'd been knocked out of our house and my family was holed up living in a bedroom in the home of a generous family from our church. As a preteen, she took a job waiting tables at a dinner theater just to make ends meet, dreaming of the day she would be on stage. Tragedy struck Heche's family when she was just 13 years old. Her father passed away from complications of AIDS. Heche knew exactly how her church choir directing father contracted the illness too. In fact, she knew all of his deepest secrets. Years later, on an episode of Larry King Live, Heche spilled the beans. She told the world that her father had been a closeted gay man. She elaborated, "He was a very promiscuous man, and we knew his lifestyle then. When it rains, it pours, and it was raining tragedy on the Heche family. Just 3 short years after Heche's father passed, her 18-year-old brother met his own untimely demise. In a frightening omen of her own fate, Heche's brother passed away in a violent car crash. Heche needed a way to escape her tragically fated family. Fortunately, at 16 years old, a talent scout spotted her on stage during a school play. He whisked her off to New York City, where she auditioned for As the World Turns. To even her own surprise, she absolutely nailed it. The end to her suffering was almost in sight. Or was it just the beginning? Just when Heche thought things were looking up, it all came crashing down around her. Her mother told her that she was too young to be on television and made her finish high school, and later said, "My mother was very religious, and maybe she thought show business was a sinner's world." At 18, Heche was free to make her own decisions. She called up the talent scout and told him, "Send me the ticket, I'm going on the plane." According to her, "I did my time with my mom in a one-bedroom, skanky apartment, and I was done." It would be years before Heche revealed the real reason she was so eager to get away from her mother. Heche broke away from her family and entered Hollywood with a splash. She landed a recurring role on Another World playing identical twins. The rookie actress's performance was so great that she even snagged an Emmy nomination. After her success on Another World, Heche struggled to find larger roles. That was until 1997's Donnie Brasco, where she starred alongside A-list star Johnny Depp. In fact, Heche stole the attention away from the megastar. The film's writer said, "If I had one thing to say, there should have been more Anne Heche in the actual script." In her 2001 memoir, Call Me Crazy, Heche wrote about her experience. Heche said that at the time of filming Donnie Brasco, she began hearing the voice of God. As if that wasn't odd enough, the voice of God was telling her some very interesting things. Heche claimed that the voice of God in her head told her about her alter ego, Celestia. Apparently, God was telling her that she was the physical incarnation of God himself, and because that wasn't enough, the reincarnation of Jesus as well. Her divine mission was to enlighten all mankind. Despite her running internal dialogue between Celestia, God, and Jesus, Heche's career was taking off. In 1998, hot off the heels of her Donnie Brasco breakthrough, Heche landed her first headlining role in a major film. She was set to star alongside Harrison Ford in 6 Days, 7 Nights.
That was the one I was trying to think of. Thank you. I couldn't remember it.
Before filming on 6 Days, 7 Nights began, Touchstone Pictures fired Heche. Oddly enough, it wasn't because she was running around telling everyone that she was an intergalactic reincarnation of Jesus. The studio axed Heche from the project because she had appeared on the red carpet with Ellen DeGeneres as more than just a friend. The studio believed that Heche's new lesbian relationship made her unmarketable to audiences. Her co-star vehemently disagreed. Harrison Ford had personally selected Heche for 6 Days, 7 Nights over Hollywood heavy hitters like Meg Ryan and Julia Roberts. He demanded that the studio hire her back, which they reluctantly did, but it was a little too late. Major studios blacklisted Heche for being half of the world's first gay super couple, but they might have judged her too quickly. Heche starred alongside Vince Vaughn in 2 1998 films, Return to Paradise and Psycho. According to sources on either film set, Heche's love life was even more complicated than the public realized. Even though Heche was officially dating DeGeneres, there was speculation that her passions lay elsewhere, like with the opposite gender. Rumors began spreading that Heche and Vaughn weren't acting in their love scenes together. In fact, according to their co-stars, Heche and Vaughn were as inseparable as an industrial adhesive. If they were trying to hide a relationship, they weren't doing a very good job of it. While DeGeneres watched from the tabloids, Heche cozied up with Vaughn. Allegedly, while filming on set in locations like Thailand and Macau, Heche and Vaughn enjoyed passionate lovemaking sessions in their trailers. When they returned to New York to finish filming, Heche and Vaughn flaunted the relationship openly. According to reports, they would show up to set holding hands and leave holding more than that. One night, they were dirty dancing at the Red Eye Grill, one source said. They left wrapped around each other, tighter than tape on a package. Heche's affair with Vaughn might have been an attempt to cover up her relationship with DeGeneres for the sake of her career. In an interview, Heche confessed, "People said, 'You're not getting a job because you're gay.' How could that destroy my career? I still can't wrap my head around it. In a tell-all interview with Los Angeles magazine, Heche confessed that she wasn't even certain that she was gay. She said, "I'm a whole different thing. I don't even know what I am." Heche might not have known what she was, but she could have said what she wasn't. She was not in love with Generous, not for much longer. While they were still dating, Heche agreed to direct a documentary about DeGeneres' stand-up comedy tour. While filming the comedy tour documentary, she fell in love with the film's cameraman, Coleman Coley LaFoon. In her 2001 memoir, she made a shocking confession. She claimed that she had been insane for her entire life up to that point. Following her breakdown and career troubles, Heche actually did seem to come back around the corner, but only because she had faced her demons, one in particular. As an adult, Heche strayed from her strict religious upbringing in an effort to heal her childhood traumas. She returned to Reiki and body psychotherapy and psychedelic therapy to face the demons of her past. But nothing could have prepared her for the painful memories that came rushing back to her, or the wounds that would open up. While discussing her memoir on an episode of Larry King Live, Heche finally revealed that childhood trauma had been driving her crazy all these years. The Donnie Brasco actress claimed that her father, Donald Joe, had forced himself on her repeatedly, and she had the evidence to prove it. In another interview promoting her memoir, a journalist from The Advocate asked a follow-up question to her allegations against her father. "But why?" the reporter asked. "Would a gay man force himself on a girl?" Heche responded, "I don't think he was just a gay man. I think he was deviant. My belief was that my father was gay, and he had to cover that up." Heche's story of her repressed childhood trauma explained much of her strange behavior, including that particularly odd episode at the stranger's house in the California desert. She explained that, to escape her trauma, she had created a fictional world in her head called the Fourth Dimension. She added that Celestia had been the alter ego who kept her safe from harm. Heche's shocking revelations in her memoir helped to heal her childhood wounds, but they also destroyed her family. She claimed that her mother refused to believe her accusations against her father. In fact, based on the stories that Heche tells in her memoir, her mother went out of her way to cover up the whole thing. In her memoir, Heche recounted the time that she presented her mother with evidence of her father's predatory behavior, a venereal disease. Instead of taking Heche to the doctor so that she could get treatment, her mother told her that all she had was a bad diaper rash, but diaper rashes don't usually have oozing sores. Heche's evangelical Christian mother fired back at her daughter's allegations in a candid internet forum. She wrote, "I'm trying to find a place for myself in this writing, a place where I, as Anne's mother, do not feel violated or scandalized. I find no place among the lies and blasphemies in the pages of this book. The mother-daughter duo never reconciled." Heche's mother wasn't the only one casting doubts on her allegations. In fact, according to Heche's sister, even the Hollywood star doubted her own recollection. "I would like to point out," Heche's sister said, "that Anne, in the past, has expressed doubts herself about the accuracy of such memories. I believe that her memories regarding our father are untrue." In the media fallout following Heche's revelations, her sister further defended their mother from public scrutiny. She went on, "I can state empathetically, regardless of Anne's belief, that the assertion that our mother knew about such behavior is absolutely false. But to make peace with herself, Heche had to have the last word." In an interview with the New York Times, Heche defended her allegations and cast dispersions on her family. She said, "My mother's had a very tragic life. 3 of her 5 children are deceased, and her husband is deceased. That she is attempting to change gay people into straight people is, in my opinion, a way to keep the pain of the truth out." She does have a point. Nancy Heche is a Christian therapist whose focus is on overcoming homosexuality. Heche found another way to process her trauma. She wrote and starred in a short film in which she portrayed an adult entertainer with Bible verses etched on her body. She called the film a metaphor for my life as I saw it, but her story wasn't over yet. Throughout the 2000s, Heche continued exercising her demons through storytelling, and it seemed to be working. She married LaFoon and settled into a quiet family life. But her married bliss didn't last for very long. Heche met fellow actor James Tupper on the set of the television series Men in Trees in 2006. Despite being a lighthearted romantic comedy series, Men in Trees spelled doom for 2 marriages. Shortly after the series began, both Heche and Tupper began divorce proceedings for their ailing marriages, and then Heche's mental health really fell apart. The Men in Trees co-stars wasted absolutely no time breaking off their marriages to start their own relationship together. Heche and LaFoon finalized their divorce in early 2007. Heche had to pay LaFoon over $500,000 for the privilege of leaving him. Heche raised eyebrows once again in the 2009 film Spread. This time, the headline news was about what Heche was doing on camera, as opposed to behind it. The film featured numerous heavily intimate scenes between Heche and her co-star, Ashton Kutcher, but Heche was well past the point of feeling ashamed of her body. In an interview on her racy scenes with Kutcher, Heche said, "I certainly can say I've gone further in this movie than I ever have before. Why didn't I do this when I was 22? Heche did her best to rehabilitate her career. She appeared in several television shows and frequently starred in small projects alongside her new beau Tupper. She even made some stage appearances and became a favorite amongst critics to the indie film circuit. While promoting her latest project, Catfight, Heche appeared alongside the film's director, Oner Tuckle, on an episode of Doug Benson's podcast. Everything started out fine until Heche's eccentricities got both her and the director booted off the show midstream. Heche's tumultuous career came to a tragic and unexpected end in early August of 2022. She was driving her Mini Clubman through the streets of Los Angeles. For unknown reasons, Heche drove headlong into someone's garage. She then promptly reversed and fled the scene. Later that same fateful afternoon, Heche was involved in another hit-and-run situation. She drove her car into a Jaguar, never stopping or slowing down to indicate that she even noticed the powerful impact. Fortunately, the driver of the Jaguar did not sustain any injuries. The same, however, couldn't be said for Heche. Heche's out-of-control vehicle next appeared on someone's doorbell video in a quiet residential street. Heche's vehicle exited the frame at high speed just before the muffled sound of a terrible crash. Heche had driven her car at full speed into someone's home, plowing 30 feet into the building and trapping herself inside. Only moments after crashing into the house, Heche's car caught fire and the spreading flames soon engulfed the entire collapsing furniture. Firefighters were quick to respond to the fiery scene, but initially had no idea that anyone was inside the building, far less a Hollywood star. By the time they got to Heche, it was too late. It took a team of nearly 60 firefighters, a total of 45 minutes to pull Heche from the blazing wreckage. By the time they managed to rescue Heche from the inferno, she had already sustained severe burns to much of her body and other injuries from smoke inhalation. Once first responders rescued Heche from the blaze, camera footage showed her sitting up on the stretcher and fighting with her rescuing paramedics and against her restraints. Shortly after, she lost consciousness and never regained it. 9 days after, Heche finally succumbed to her injuries. People wonder why I am so forthcoming with the truths that have happened in my life, and it's because the lies that I have been surrounded with and the denial that I was raised in, for better or worse, bore a child of truth and love. She is survived by her 2 sons.
That's the story, supposedly, as to what went on through her life. Pretty sad. A lot of it is to see what she went from to what she became to where she ended up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's very
crazy.
Yeah. The thing
And
with
of
the
course, being married to Ellen had to be traumatic in and of itself. So
that's enough to make anybody go insane, in my opinion. I couldn't imagine anybody ever having to be in a relationship with that person, ever.
It's really sad to think that she never really knew who she was.
Right, 100%. She was not a one. That's another point I was going to make. Thank you for saying that, because she didn't know if she was gay or straight or not or whatever. You know what I mean? And she didn't seem to have family support. None of that
That
stuff.
would be horrible. I mean, you just don't fit in anywhere, and that is something that I think everyone struggles with a little bit. But after seeing that, just imagine how she felt this whole time.
Agreed. Like the internal struggle. It's unbelievable. She was a great actress. I'll say that much. For sure. She was in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and she played the one guy's crazy sister. She did well with that part. She was in that 6 Days, 7 Nights was a great movie with Harrison Ford. She did very well in that, I think, too. So obviously, and they said she got, was it an Emmy Award for when she played the twins on the soap opera. So again, she was good at the acting. So
There's absolutely nothing wrong with being bi. It just means you like a variety of things.
there's a lot of people that are like that. My daughter is that. My oldest daughter has been in relationships on both sides, and again, it's probably still not sure, or it's completely sure, and she likes both sides of the fence. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
No,
it's your choice.
And
Your
it's
choice.
so sad because it's like like she was looked bad upon since the beginning, and I think eventually that, like, it just stuck in her head. I think, and that's sad. It's horrible.
Probably, yeah. It was to be told that you're unacceptable, which blows my mind. That of all places, Hollywood to be blacklisted because of being homosexual. Come on. Of all places, that's insane to me. Blows my
Well,
mind.
think about it though. Back in the 60s and the 50s and stuff, you had stars like Rock Hudson that absolutely had to keep everything hidden because it would have destroyed their careers. There's
Yeah.
even talk that James Dean may have had affairs with guys. And
Yep.
yeah, I mean, so.
Well, look at what we're looking at now with Diddy and all that other shit over that. You know what I mean? It's very, hey, mystery. Good to see you, dear. I hope everything's going okay for you today. Yeah, it's wild to me. You would think of all places that Hollywood being, the way it is, that it wouldn't be that way. So there's the truth, in my opinion. So I don't know, but all right. The popular actor James Dean. Well, yeah, I mean, I can see that. There was talks of quite a few others actually. Rock Hudson was like full blown gay, like there was no two ways about it, but completely hid it. And they were saying that I read a story somewhere. Well, of course we know Liberace. There was talk. What the hell's his name? James Garner, the guy that played in the Rockford Files, that he had a dual life going on at some point. Jennifer Garner's father. I don't know if there's proof of it, but it was talked about in a story I read before, and quite a few others. So it's just this, being human is a very intricate scenario, and you just never know what life is going to hand you. And for people to struggle with the things that they do and have no support, it's just horrible to me. It really is, especially when you don't have any kind of support within your family. Yeah, the guy that played the father in the Brady Bunch. He was too,
Yep.
100%. That one I was shocked with when I found that. I never knew, had no idea, but who does? You just don't know. The rebel without a cause, right, Cap? So, and now, thank God, although we do know that there is still a lot of homophobic shit that floats around, for the most part, it's been accepted now, but it's still a huge struggle in some places, in some ways, with people that go through this. So,
Oh yeah, I mean it's still bad. We've got the Pulse nightclub being attacked. We have the tragedy that was Matthew Shepard, which will always stick with me. I mean, they're it's better, but it's still not what it should be.
No.
I mean,
no, it probably never will be, at least in our lifetime. At some point, it may be more accepted than what the opposite is at some point, but no, I don't think Mr. Rogers was Mr. I think he was married.
Oh Well, I mean, you never know, but I don't think so. He was a big Presbyterian preacher and everything, from my understanding. So
That's what I was going to. But then again, you're right. You do never know. Nobody ever could know, unless it was to come out of that person's mouth. So, very true, very true. And things, especially like I guess down in the South, my wife's uncle, I told you guys, he's been gay his whole life. He was born that way. He tried dating girls in high school because that's what he was supposed to do. It just never worked out. And when he finally came out they were very big. Well, most people in the South are very religious, but his family was very religious. And he finally came out to his mother, and all she could say to him was, I love you, and you're going to have a very hard life. That
well,
was
I
it.
mean, like I grew up in Arkansas with a extremely Catholic family, and so
Mhm.
when I came out, my coming out story is crazy. I had just tried to commit suicide for like the second or third time. And so while my mom and dad are in the hospital room, I'm like, well, guess what, guys? While you're already pissed off at me, I got something else to tell you.
And how did that go?
Well, better than I had expected. My grandma, she was like, honey, I've already known for the longest time.
Right.
My mom was pretty accepting. My dad took a little bit longer to come along, but by the time my dad had passed away, he had evolved. He had gone from calling my husband my partner to the point to where he was telling people and introducing Austin as his son-in-law. So
That's good. That's good. Good to hear that. And a lot of people don't ever get to that point. That's the thing. A lot of people don't ever accept it. I thank God my wife and I both were raised in households that it was definitely acceptable, and it was never talked down upon and never looked down upon. So we were raised around our parents. Both sides of our families had a lot of gay friends that were in our families, around our families. So we were raised around it, and it was normal to us. Okay. The thing that wasn't normal was how people were treated that were. We didn't see a lot of that growing up until we became adults, and some of the stories that my wife's uncle has told, he's 67 now. You would not, they're just unbelievable of the way that gay men were treated back then and the things that have gone on. He lived in New York for a while, and it was just a horrible situation back in the 60s and 70s. And you just don't want to believe, seeing how things are now, that it was ever possible, but it definitely happened. Definitely happened. It was horrible. Even his own sisters, my wife's grandmother is his sister, treated him like shit. And the people she hung around with would make fun of him and this and that and everything else. And she condoned it. It was no big deal. So, and then she would blame it on him. Well, it was your choice to be this way. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It's not a choice. And I don't care. I'm going to argue with anybody that says that to me. It's not a choice. Okay. You don't choose to be this way. I'm sorry. I've never, ever
oh no,
understood.
I used to joke about that shit in my stand-up act. I'm like, okay, just to set the record straight, for any of you motherfuckers that think that being gay is a choice, that we choose this, let me tell you something. So, who is going to go around and just wake up one day and say, you know what? I want everyone to start hating my guts. I think I'm going to start sucking some dick and swallowing some cum. And then if you're a black man or any type of other ethnicity other than Caucasian, then you're already discriminated against, and you're going to get all the hate on top of being gay. And then, God forbid, you're a lesbian black woman. God, then you've hit the trifecta there.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Absolutely right. Yeah, that's a horrible. That's just so much, too much. One of the cousins who passed was gay, sadly. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Again, mystery. Yeah, my wife's cousin Tommy passed away, but he lived his whole life, probably the last 35 years of his life, with HIV. He never crossed into, AIDS, or over to when it transverses into AIDS, just HIV, but he died from a heart attack. And I think it was due to the medications he took to keep him healthy, because they had they did something with his heart. I can't remember what it was, but they raised his heart rate and so on and so forth. So that's what
Well,
they
I mean,
said.
we've come a long way with the treatment of HIV. I mean, no thanks to the Reagan administration, but we have come a long way. I mean, that's why you've got people like Magic Johnson who have had it for 30 years and they're still living relatively healthy lives.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's 100. Those are the people that can afford it, though. That's one thing. There's a lot of people that can't afford some of the high-end medications that will keep them in that mode. I know her friend Mikey. His husband just passed away, but he passed away from emphysema. But he himself, he's been on that medication for God, I don't know how long, and nothing has happened. He's lived really healthy. He gained some weight, but that's about it. So they are some miracle medications, I'll say that much. That is why I stood with the other LGBTQ. Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. But I'm so, again, Mystery, I'm so sorry that happened to you again. Thoughts and prayers with you. So horrible. So horrible. What did you say, Tomboy? I missed something there. I can't find it now. Where the hell did it go? Oh, you're just waving. Okay, I see it now. Anyway, sorry. All right. Anyway, moving on. So was OJ's biological? Really? I didn't know that. I did not know that. Interesting. So let's move on to some other stuff here and see if we can smile a little bit, guys.
Animal did you probably inherit your sex drive from?
A dog.
A dog.
No.
Your wife said a rabbit.
You know how fast you are, Eric. You know.
All right. Okay. What's the problem, sir?
Aren't you fast?
I guarantee you that night when they went home, it wasn't that fun, huh? You think? Mm-hmm.
Pam, name something you might hurt yourself riding on.
Oh, Lord. You know what I'm thinking? So you might well just say it. You know what I'm thinking? A penis.
Girl Square specifically was the busiest place you and your husband ever made whoopee. Sharon.
I'd have to say my apartment.
Your apartment, all right? He predicted you would say it was at a drive-in movie.
Oh, maybe that wasn't you.
We got top 6 answers on the board. Here we go. Name something that you don't care if it's fake as long as it looks good. Shane.
A woman.
Nickname will your wife say you would give her if the only time you'd ever seen her was on your wedding night? Mike?
Eager Beaver all the way.
Eager!
All the way.
I bet you did.
All right, here we go. Top 6 answers. When a man swims in cold water, his package shrinks from the size of zucchini to what vegetable?
Olive.
Olive.
Dang, that's almost any, not an outie.
That is an any if it's an olive. What the? How does it even? What? I hope she didn't mean to say that. That's all I'm saying.
A world-renowned sculptor wants to do a full-length sculpture of you to be displayed in a public place. The only requirement is that you'll be absolutely naked. Would you do it? Janet, what's Gary going to say?
I'd say no.
All right, let's bring him on to find out. Gary.
Name something that gets up in the morning before you do.
Sorry, Mom, but for men, they're penis.
Good answer. Good answer.
I asked you the birthday that men dread the most. You said they're wrong.
Wait a minute. What? Did she say topless cleaning service?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where? Why doesn't that exist around here? I'm not saying I want it to. That's not me stating that I wish forget it. Onward.
Who put these people on TV?
What was the chintziest wedding present the two of you received? Larry said the chintziest wedding present you got was the vibrator massager.
That's your opinion. I couldn't think of chintzy. I'm sorry. He's right, though. He's right. It's still in the box. I told him it's still in the box. Oh, no.
That's 100 women. Name something you'd like to do to Steve Harvey's head. Huh?
Sit on it!
Sylvia Anderson, what do you do?
I'm a waitress, and I'm also a volunteer teacher's aide.
You like to play password?
I love it.
Would you like to do it? We're all ready to do it. Here, I mean, play password, that is.
Wow. That was way dirtier than I thought it was going to be.
Name some.
Okay, I guess there's a second part to it. Hold on. I'm bet Family Feud's probably the one that would come up with the worst answers ever. I'm glad my cleaning lady keeps her well. I almost had a statement for that. Has anyone laughed so hard that they lean back in the chair? Laughing in the chair dumps it. Oh, Molly, are you okay? It's okay, Molly. Just keep brushing your hair. You'll be all right. I know I did, Zelda. I know. I should just keep my mouth shut on a regular basis. I'm just saying. That's why I have a female yard groomer. See? Tomboy. You guys are dirty. Dirty, dirty. My friend had a boat years ago called Hookers. Oh, that's awesome, Cap. How many times were you on it, my friend? Big boats are fun.
Something a man pops.
His wad.
Pops his wad.
We have a guest in the studio tonight. It's Purpley, the Purple Robots. What do you think about that?
Could you ever love a machine, Debbie?
I've loved many machines in my life, believe me. One more, it's not going to really make any difference.
Talk to 100 women. When you see a man, where's the first place your eyes go?
His crotch.
His crotch!
Tamara Osborne is a legal secretary who's driven in 5 presidential motorcades. Wow.
Well, I did Clinton 2 different trips, and
One for each.
Name some.
That's not surprising to hear at all. Wow.
You know, though, Monica Lewinsky came out of that whole ordeal smelling like a rose. She's got her own presidential line of knee pads, hawking those things on QVC now.
100%. Yes, yes, yes. Gotta love it. Yes, I saw that before too, Mystery. Gotta love it.
Something specific that only your man is allowed to do to your behind.
You can maybe do the dirty from behind. Sorry! What else could it be?
Name a popular takeaway meal.
Chinese.
Another one.
Indian.
Name a part of the body you might have pierced.
Nipples.
Name a kind of oil.
Crude.
Name something that makes you itch.
Fleas.
Name something you do in a lift.
Press the button.
Another one.
Puffs.
Name something you do in a lift.
Wee.
Duncan family, here's your chance. Name something that swings both ways.
A penis?
For which you stayed up all night.
God,
3 seconds.
lost my virginity.
Look at the steel.
It took all night.
I'd have been there and taken all week.
Something people do and then blame the dog. Raina.
Pee on the couch.
That I can say I've never done. I don't know about anybody else, but I've never done that. Just saying. I bet her husband's embarrassed now.
All right, we want love of life. May we see it, please?
Love of life.
Hey, wait a minute here.
What's wrong?
When Richie gives the right answer, they run up and slobber all over him. What's wrong here?
Sorry.
Yeah.
So excited.
Well, you know you're in trouble now, don't you, honey? Yeah, you know, once you go...
That guy right there played in the movie The Wiz. Oh my God.
Wasn't he also in that old TV show, What's Happening?
Yep. Yeah, he was on there too. Thank you, sir. I was trying to remember who he was, but yeah, I remembered him from The Wiz. He played the Scarecrow. Or not the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, sorry, because Michael Jackson played the Scarecrow. Nipsey Russell, thank you, Mystery. Damn. I thought I was going to get it. Either way, moving on. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen him, too. As soon as I seen him, I'm trying to think right away.
Black, you never go back.
Well, that's our show. Thank you. Thank you and welcome to whatever the name of this show is. I've had a wonderful time. I certainly hope you have. That was very nice. It's nice to meet you. I don't even know your name, and somehow I feel I know you already.
What's on a woman's mind most of the time?
I'm going to say sex.
I mean, look, ladies, look. That's a real good answer for TV. But we're begging most of the time.
Name something most women wouldn't be caught dead leaving the house without.
A tampon.
Arthur blank. Arthur Miller, Arthur Murray, and Arthur Godfrey. Do you want one of those, or you want to choose one of your own? What came to your mind?
I don't have any.
You don't have any?
No.
I wouldn't say that.
Name something you might need to help you get out of your skinny jeans.
Oh, a crowbar.
A crowbar?
Will humming help your tennis game?
This struck me funny.
Oh, Mrs. Brady was dirty. Look at that. No way. I've ruined my whole life now.
Well,
No way.
I mean, she was sleeping with Greg behind the scenes, so.
Mm-hmm. You must have been a MILF. I'm guessing you're calling that back in the days, but I don't know. What the hell is her real name? Florence Henderson? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I remember seeing that whole story too. That was pretty wild. Wasn't everybody though? Greg was like Mr. Pimp Daddy, I thought. Florence Henderson. She did the Crisco commercials, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, she did the Wesson Oil commercials.
That's it. That's it. Thank you. Wesson Oil. That's right. Good God. Just good old days. Oh, boy.
Will humming help my tennis game? Sure, why not? It takes your mind off your balls or something.
Speaking of bazooms, Fanny, would you show us yours?
As I said earlier,
Oh.
Wow, guys. Bad people. Bad people. Okay, I think that. Oh, no. There is one more, and then that's the end of it. All right.
Hello.
At least they're quick. All right. Yeah, what time is it? Yep. Okay.
Hello. I've got to salute that moustache. It's very Biggles, isn't it?
It's a little bit Biggles.
I
It's
wonder
also a
why
little
they-
bit Tickles, Anne. Come on. Now, what say you get a few of these wrong and I'll show you?
Anything interesting there? Where should we go? Yes, Janet.
I can't say it. Okay, I'll get this over with quickly. Bumhole is there.
What sport does Fanny Schmeller compete for Germany? A, swimming. B, show jumping. Or C, skiing.
We're going to make a rule now, never to say a name again.
That's right. I'd be straight down the court in the morning if that was my name.
The nicknames Cheesemongers, Cherry Pickers, Bob's Own, the Emperor's Chambermaids, and the Immortals are or have been used for which groups of men?
You, Miss Bright, homosexuals?
Hello, Anne. Hello, Alex.
All right.
Oh, you're so cute. and clever. And clever.
And
9
clever,
grand.
yes.
I would totally throw my knickers at you.
What's yours, Kate?
Erection. Can I do things to sort of distract him?
Yes.
Describe the weather with a word or phrase that would also describe your wife.
Wet.
Wet. Hello, David.
Hello, how are you doing?
Oh, I just want to lick you all over.
If you get some of these questions wrong, I might allow you to do that.
Something you wash once a week. Claudia.
Yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah, to be honest, very nervous. Up against a Titan. Didn't think I could win.
Yeah. Are you a Titan? Absolutely. I'm certainly bigger than anything he's ever pulled.
Not yet.
What's your wife called? You've got a nickname for you. Super Sperm.
36 grand, what'll it be?
I got to be honest, Brad, I was hoping for a different sort of number for a man.
What, for a higher offer?
No, maybe a phone number, but we can get that after the show,
I see you have a lucky rabbit's foot there.
I have my rabbit's foot, a peso, and a St. Christopher.
You got it all, I'll say that. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, Mr. Chaser. I see a smile. I was like, Mr. Personality, I'm going to make you crack. And I got you just by sitting. I like it. Let's do this.
Name a piece of clothing wives buy for their husbands.
Halter tops.
Hello, gorgeous. You're a real hottie, you are.
I didn't want you because you might put me off.
Good.
No, do that sexy smile. Stay miserable. That's what you're known for.
Our top winner in the showcase is Gay.
Chaser? Yes, as I said, better than the 3. Could have gone high. You had no problem with that. Plus, you are ridiculously cute. So, yes, I'm going to enjoy this.
All right. That should do it. That should do it. That should do it. Those are all dirty. Dirty. Anyway. Thank you, Arctic Sir, for being here. Doodle, God bless. I'm so glad you're back and so glad you're okay. We missed you yesterday, and I was so worried about you, but you're here today, and that's what matters. And you sound good. You sound healthy, happy.
I feel so much better.
You sound... Yes, you sound spunky.
I'm just slow, but spunky.
But slowly spunky. Anyway, And Arctic again, sir. Thank you. What, Tomboy? Is it the word spunky? That's a word for like being upbeat, right? Spunky. Was
Yes.
that right?
Yeah. Well, it can also mean something else.
Oh.
What else could it mean? Oh God, what did I say?
Spunk is another term for cum.
Oh my God.
Well, Doodle, I promise I wasn't calling. I wasn't calling you cummy. By any means was I saying that, Doodle. Oh my God. Thanks, Tomboy. Anyway, wow. Where's your Tomboy's mind at? Anyway.
Here I am. Yeah, I'm spunky. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, if I would have said like you're full of spunk, or that would have made more sense. That's so bad though. That's so horrible to say. Epping thing went out 3 weeks ago. I spent the last 3 weeks trying to find the right recess. She's not even talking about that. She's talking about something else. Anyway, Jesus. Yes, we are so happy to have you back, Doodle. We really did miss you. And I just grateful everything's okay. And today was a good show. Appreciate you guys very much for joining me as always. I will be back here shortly. And it will be shortly. It won't be later. It'll be shortly to get back into the monster case. I missed yesterday, so I'm gonna have to catch that up and so on and so forth. So, well, actually not really. I don't know what today's case with the trial, not case, but the trial has been like today. Anybody out there? I know you guys have been watching it. So what are there witnesses in there today and so on and so forth? What's going on? Dirty. You're the one that's catching it all, Molly.
So. I think so. They went through the landfill stuff yesterday. So I'm kind of curious about today, what today will bring.
I'm kind of grateful that I missed that one then, I guess, because I don't really want to know about that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have liked yesterday at all.
No. Hey, Taylor, good to see you here. Well, there has been breaks, eh? I don't know. Okay, Cheryl, thank you for joining us. But yes, guys, I will be here later for sure. My apologies for yesterday. Like I said, my son, Caden, ended up having an issue that we were trying to figure out and handled the situation the best way we could. Awesome, Tomboy. She can't wait to see it, I'm sure. But yeah, we won't say that word again, Zelda. That'll be the last time I use that word. Thank you. Now that I know that there's a secondary meaning to it. Shame on me. I'm so shameful now. So thank you once again, everybody, for being here. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other. Don't change a thing about yourselves, guys. You are amazing. And I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you to anybody that donated to the channel. Thank you to all for every bit of support you give this channel. And Arctic and Doodle, one more time, thank you so much for being here today. I will see you guys very, very soon. Have a great day. Much love to you all. Bye-bye now.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Life's a journey. Let's make every moment shine. Together we share our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you.